Hi, I'm John from the YouTube channels Pro Craps and Casino Gaming TV. This year's Craps for the Cure is going to be held November 11th and 12th in Las Vegas at Casino Quest. The whole thing will be streamed live on the Casino Quest YouTube channel. This year, obviously, we're raising money for veterans moving forward, which helps to raise service animals for veterans with PTSD. It costs $50,000 to raise one dog. That's our goal this year. Let's put one dog into one veteran's house as a group. Join us again for 20 hours over 2 days of straight up craps play, talk, competitions, dice throwing, strategy breakdowns, dealing practice, you name it. If it's got to do with craps, we're doing it for 20 straight hours to raise money for our vets. Looking forward to seeing you out there live at Casino Quest or on their YouTube channel. Again, if you want to donate, there's plenty of chances to donate at crapsforthecure.com. We have auction items, raffle items, event ticketing while you're there, and of course, live donations and pledges taken during the broadcast. Can't wait to see you there. Can't wait to hook up one vet with a dog. Let's get this done, everybody. See you on Veterans Day weekend. In the meantime, God bless.
Well, hello everyone. It's Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Craps along with John from Pro Craps, who was just on that intro about the big weekend that we have coming up next weekend. John, good evening. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Jeff. It was a nice, relaxing weekend. Got to see some old friends. Got to chillax. I didn't think 1 second about craps. It was actually super nice. You know, going 2 hours a day every day is a lot, and like my weekends, like I love to just kind of just like bake a little bit, you know. And it's good.
No,
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. The weekend wasn't as quiet for me. However, as you know, I have a big event after next weekend. I have an event that I have to do, and I've just been slammed. I haven't been able to catch hardly any YouTube, especially your morning shows. Now that you flip-flopped, the first one or the second last one, however you want to look at it, it's difficult for me to watch too much YouTube and. But I mean, it is what it is. We've got a good crowd here already. I do want to go ahead and tell our viewers at the moment. I know there's a couple questions that have come in that we will talk about the Craps for the Cure for a little bit here for a few minutes. So just indulge us just a little bit. Hang in there with us. We'll get to some Craps questions. We got some people in the chat. We've got people that if you want to join, it's very simply to join the show. It's pinned in the chat. And or it's over on crapschat.com. You can get there either way. Just hit that. Make sure I know a name that I can recognize, and we'll let you into the room, and you'll be able to join the viewers from the Zoom side of the call. So, Craig, I'm Craig. Craig is in the green room. Alfredo's in the green room, and Dustin's in the green room. We're going to bring them over so they can listen and partake in our conversation here, John, so they can hear too. Because I think when they're on the Zoom side, they really don't get an opportunity to hear as much as you and I do. Right. So, welcome. Let's go welcome them. Craig, you were here first. Good evening. How are you? Oops. Hang on 1 second, Craig. Try it again, Craig.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right. Welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. And then Alfredo came in right after you. Alfredo, Texas Crap Shooters. Good evening.
How's it going, guys?
All right.
Nice to be here. Looking forward to this upcoming weekend. So it's going to be fun.
Me too. Yep. And then Dustin, he was on the screen, but he may have disappeared. There he is.
Yeah, you see in Ed's chat, Ed from Ulta Win says you need more volume for you. I'm not sure how we all sound, but he says you need more volume.
Okay. Well, that's because I turned it down a little bit. Yeah, but, well, that might be all right. Is that any better, Ed? Just put in the chat that's any better. I can always talk
I thought Ed was being sarcastic.
No.
He said it twice now, so it must be, yeah.
Yeah, my audio meter says I'm okay, but compared to you guys on the meter, you guys are a tad bit louder than me. But I turned this condenser mic up, so we'll see what happens there. But good evening to the three of you. We're going to take a few minutes here and talk about what's coming up next weekend, Veterans Day weekend at Casino Quest. By the way, I have my Casino Quest. Can you see this? My Casino Quest shirt. You can't see that. Hang on it. My Casino Quest shirt on. But in any event. John, the floor is yours. Let's go ahead and maybe recap what you did on Friday with your interview with the young lady. Her name escapes me from the organization.
Yeah,
Lori
we
is,
had
yes.
Lori Sittner on Thursday. She is the COO of Veterans Moving Forward, who is the charity that we're supporting this year for Craps for the Cure. And she pretty much gave us all chapter and verse of how their organization works, what they stand for, how the dogs get trained, where the money goes, like all that stuff. It was fascinating. I've talked to her before, and I got more out of it even this time. She's actually going to be there with us in Vegas. So she's staying at the Treasure Island, I think, and she'll be walking over to Casino Quest with us every day, and she'll be there in person. So she'll give the same story again live, which is good because I think the Casino Quest audience will have never heard that story. So for some of you all to be a repeat, but it is what it is. We are broadcasting, by the way, live. That whole thing will be done live on the Casino Quest YouTube channel, not this one. So y'all need to know that. We'll get that scheduled out this week, but it'll be on their channel, not ours. And the primary reason for that is because the Casino Quest channel, they're at over 10,000 subscribers, obviously. They're like 100,000. When you're at that level, you can do super chats that go right to the charity without any fees. So we can take live donations. And of course, their audience is, 10 times the size of ours, actually more than that. So we should be able to have a much larger reach with them. So that's the plan for that. We'll have her on again and out there at CQ the whole time. It's going to be awesome. We got this great schedule figured out. I think it's going to be our best one ever. We're learning every year how to do these things. I've never done a fundraiser in my life until 2 years ago. And so we're getting better as we go, and learning on the fly kind of thing.
Right. All right. Well, what else would you you want to maybe go over the schedule or talk about the events that are going on? I know that there's a chat going on about possibly some type of match that might take place. Do you want to give us any details on that?
Let's talk about a couple of things. So I'm going to share my screen if you don't mind. And
sure, go ahead.
Let me go over here. I'm going to share this one. We're going to share. I think this should be it. Do y'all see my screen right there?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up. Yep.
All right, cool. So that's the Craps for the Cure homepage. And one thing you'll notice that I made the tickets thing be sold out. So the story behind the tickets is this. We've got, if you've been to Casino Quest, they have 3 craps tables, and they're in toward the back half of their space there. We have the backmost craps table. And when you get in there, you'll see how the room is set up. In that section, we can fit about 20 to 25 people. So we went and sold 20 tickets for each day. Plus you've got, me and Jen and Ian and the Casino Quest crew back there, right? So 20 tickets plus us is about the max that area can hold. And that's why I turned the ticket sales off. Now, that said, if you're coming to the event and you've bought a ticket, you're welcome to come in. You'll be there all day long. If you want to, we've got gifts for you and everything else. If it's sold out and you still want to be there, you're going to come into Vegas anyway, you want to come and show up, come on over. Casino Quest will not turn you away. Because I suspect that not everybody's going to stay from 10 to 7 the entire time. People will be kind of, going in and going out. So there's always going to be room for you. Come on in, come on back, say hi, hang out with us for a little while. As you can see from our schedule here, we've got a lot of really cool interactive things that I've got planned. So we're going to start with the Coffee and Craps episode live that we'll do. We'll have Lori on again. We'll talk to her. I've got Chuck from Crapsy who's going to talk about version 2 of Crapsy, what's coming up there. He's going to actually run Crapsy the entire time that we're here. So there's going to be a Crapsy table that's opened up for Craps for the Cure that everybody watching can jump onto that table. And every die that we roll the entire 2 days will be logged on that one table. Okay. So David's going to show us how to work this interaction a little bit. We're going to have a short stack challenge. So everybody who's there, we're going to give you all, like we do on the Friday night fights, you're going to get 6 green chips and we're going to roll dice and you're going to make money with 6 green chips. And we're going to talk as we're doing that, what people's strategies are, how they're going to attack the table to be kind of an interactive sort of, let's play along with the dice. That'll be the first Crapsy session. Then David and I are going to break down the strategy. I'm not sure which one yet. I may give him like the Philly special or tier pressure, one of the ways I like to play, and have him sort of break it down from the dealer side of things. And I'll tear apart one of his, or maybe we might even strategize something together and kind of make something up. But we want to talk about what makes the strategy hard to deal, not just present and create opportunity. So a little bit hard to deal, a little bit of like, as a dealer, what has he seen work, not work? I saw a thing from Jeremy about the only way a dealer has seen people win. I want to ask David that question. So we'll get into like actual crap strategies there. Ryan Foley Rower is going to teach us about craps cruising. We got Bo Parker, the dice coach, coming in, which is fantastic. I can't wait to meet him. He's going to be awesome. Right after that, we have the girls versus boys rematch. So again, another chance of us playing. We're going to throw dice. It's going to be basically rolls between sevens thing. But while we're doing that, the craps table is going to be going on. So we'll be marking points and everything else. But that's going to be part of the day. It'll be the Craps Angels group. We have an all women craps group that lives there and plays in Vegas. They're going to play against all of us guys, me and Alfredo. And I'm not going to tell you. We have another. I'll tell you. Toothpick Ted's going to be there. I think he's trying to get in. So a lot of guys that can throw the dice and want to flex a little bit. We're going to see the boys won last year, so a little bit of a rematch maybe. And then Mac, you're going to lead us in a live craps chat at the end of that day. I set aside 2 hours for it. We'll see. I think, by the way, as part of this craps chat live, I don't know if it's going to be Saturday or Sunday or what time it's going to be, but we have a representative from Station Casinos, a pit manager, is going to be with us to talk turkey about comps and how comps really work. And like, I'm going to ask him, like, what are you guys writing down? Like, you're writing down fat bald guy, bet small. Like, how do they actually track what you're doing? Yeah, how do they know when you're coming back? Like, I want to know, like, kind of the inside scoop on, without giving away the company store, right? That's going to be a cool thing. I'm not sure if he'll be with us for this craps chat or for the second day's craps chat. I don't know. But day 2, we've got Garrison coming on talking about his ways of dice setting, the 10 myths about craps as he sees it. He's very much anti-comeback, as you know. We'll play some horse and some bingo, which I'll be doing this week on my show. David and I are going to talk. Maybe this session here might be the station person. I don't know. I set it aside. We'll see. We're going to do a pass the rack challenge, which will be some kind of a pledge in chat sort of a thing. I got an open hour in here. I know that Jack Hayes from Jack Ace is going to be joining us. He's my favorite roulette guy in the whole world. He's good friends with Alex. He will be there. We're going to talk math. He's a total math nerd. He's a coder like me. We might just nerd out for a while. And that's going to be hella fun having him there. We'll break off, do some roulette and some math talk with him. I don't know when that's going to be. So the hour's open. I can move that anywhere we want to. I'm going to do a live version of the Hawaiian Crap Shooter So You Think You Can Press. So one day this week, I'm not telling you which day it's going to be or which set of rolls it's going to be. I'm going to cherry pick 20 rolls from either my Daily Paycheck show or the Coffee and Crap show. That 20 rolls is going to be used for everybody to play their best pressing strategy against. We're going to run the rolls in Crapsy. We're going to lay the dice out there, pre-baked rolls, and we will let you one by one do your best pressing on those 20 rolls. See who makes the most money. And here's the big one: the OBC Degen Battle Royale. So last year we did it with Midmo Yo and Sideshow. There was a bit of a grudge match there. This one's less of a grudge match. It's more of just 2 really good friends that wanted to try it. Like, that's an interesting competition. And I think the world of both of them. And I think what we're going to do is this week, every night, we'll do rounds 1 through 4. And then we'll have the final round live at Casino Quest, just like we did last time. We'll end the whole thing with that. We'll do that, a little bit of craps chat. We're going to do the raffle drawings at 7 o'clock and close it out. And that's the thing. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. Nobody's going to be remote, Jeff. Not one person's going to be remote. Everybody's going to be there in person live. I got some pre-recorded interviews that I'll play in the off hours. And that's it. I say it all the time. You want to come here, crapsforthecure.com. Come out here. Make your donations right now. You can make a donation ahead of time if you want to. We'd love to have that pre-fund coming in. The raffle is amazing. We've got Hawaiian Crap Shooters is putting up a set of dice, as well as the ability to come out and play with them. When they come to Vegas, you get to play with them at the table, and they will film it, and you'll be on one of the YouTube videos, live with the Hawaiians. That's going to be awesome. Brian's got this. Those raffle tickets are $100 each. The cruise ship raffle tickets are $100 each, as are the Axis Power Crafts full weekend seminar. The whole deal with Heavy, right? These are major worth prizes here. I'm only going to let 100 tickets go. So you have, for $100, at worst, you have a 1 in 100 chance of winning this thing. You can buy as many as you want to, but at worst, you're 1 out of 100 to win, like a 4-night cruise. And that's not like a timeshare. you're going to get bullshitted by somebody. It's you're going to hang out with Brian and eat and drink like a crazy person and play craps with one of the best craps players out there. It's going to be awesome, right? We've got the Toothpick Ted dice that he poured out of silver. John Patrick signed a copy of his book for us for this thing. You've got the Fiesta Rancho felt that Gargoyle put up. Of course, you got my bobbleheads. We've got a Crapsy Lifetime membership. We've got my felt, Wager's felt. Dice Dr. Dan stepped up and did a bunch of another set of collectibles for us. We have these mugs, the Yeti mugs that Adam G put together for us. We've got the hard hat, of course. Hard hat should be like the number one thing that goes. That thing traveled the country. It was in Waylon's house. It was in my house. It was in Degen's house. It was in Mac's house. It was in Arizona with Big AZ. It was at Alfredo's place. It was at Ed's place. Everybody signed it, right? That's a piece of like our community's lore. You should have that, right? There's unused Stratosphere cards. There's a custom card deck made just for this. And of course, Casino Quest is going to give away a free dealer school scholarship for the online courses. So there's a ton that we have there that I think, honestly, Jeff, the auction, and there's a couple more auction items coming still. I got another piece of memorabilia coming in from Spinetti's and somebody else. So there's a lot of things to bid on. There's a lot of easy ways to make donations. We're going to have a ton of fun at the thing. I'm going to be hoarse by the time it's all over with. And again, it's going to be like you and me and Craig and Chris and Alfredo and Toothpick Ted and Garrison and Bo Parker and like the champions of the world are going to be there, right? It's going to be just this. I'm just going to be like gaga awestruck the entire time, you know? And like, wait till you see Ted shoot in person. Like Ted, I say it all the time, that guy's got the best shot I've ever seen in my life. Like I've never seen the dice fly like his fly in person before. So I just can't wait for this whole thing, you know? And Alfredo, I'm calling you out, man. We got to defend our title. Got to defend our title. I think you closed it out last year.
The girls are going down for sure.
They're totally going down. No mercy.
Oh yeah.
None mercy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they're good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, they're good.
But
Gary's
they're
good.
going to go down.
The one woman, I forget her name. She was so good. Remember the one? She had the prettiest shot. Just like super cool shot. So I think this is going to be our best one ever. I really do, and everybody has to know this. I'm going to be pushing this out there the entire time. Oh, let me share my screen one more time. I guess I can't. The goal this year is $50,000, which is a lot of money, right? And it's going to take everything we've got. And
Oops. Hold on, John. I'm going to put the screen up there for you. Show me where it is. The goal is.
Yeah, if you go to the / tote board on that, it'll give you the totals. Go to very top of the screen. Just do Craps for the Cure / tote board.
Oh, tote board. Okay.
Yeah, just type it in. You got to type it in. And I have to update it because it's a little bit changed right now. So give me a second here. If I go to Craps for the Cure, hold on.
Yep, I must have spelled it wrong.
TOTEBOARD.
That's what I did. There we go.
Is it .com or .live or .net?
There it is.
There it is.
It's
It's
.com,
.com.
Right? So here's a tool board. Yeah, you can arrow down a little bit there, Jeff. So there's a couple things on here. One is we've already raised. I saved it just now. If you refresh your screen.
Okay.
The number is going to go.
We have a question too. I was going to get to. There it is. 1,065.
Yeah, we're at 1065. So this is gonna be updated live throughout the whole event. This thing updates every minute. So that's where we are. We've had $1,065 in donations, or not in donations, in auction item raffle tickets purchased already before the event even started, which is really
I'm
really
going
cool.
to scroll back up, and while you're here, I'm going to put a question up here that's that Durso asked during this event. Here, I'll go ahead and pin that up there. Will there be an 11th hour remembrance for Mid-Mo-Yo?
We will do something. I got a couple things in mind for Chiro. One is going to be this. So I'm going to ask people to pledge an amount for the 11s. Now, you got to remember a couple of things. The people who are watching from the Casino Quest channel largely don't know us. They know There's some crossover. We're small, right? So they don't know us. They don't know Chiro. They're not going to get at all what the 11 stands for. So in the beginning of Craps Chat, or the first Coffee and Craps, Not only will Lori be there, but Crystal's going to be there. Crystal's coming to fly in. She's going to be hanging out with us. We're going to tell Chiro's story a little bit during the first hour. And what I want people to do is for every 11 that's thrown, the entire event, we will update that. Somebody's job, by the way, I'm not sure what it's going to be to update the counter every time an 11 gets hit, right? Put it in there and donate 25 cents per 11 or 10 cents per 11, whatever it's going to be. Pledge it out there. We've got to educate the people on the chat what that means, why we're doing it, and that extra pledge money we'll get in there. We'll absolutely Duracell fly Chiro's flag this entire time, and we have a chance to if we raise the money, we have a chance to name the dog that we raise the money for. And my preference is to suggest we call the dog Mooch, which is a play on Chiro's last name. It's a great name for a dog. It doesn't sound like any dog command. It doesn't rhyme with anything. And I think that there's probably also a veteran out there whose nickname that is, and we can give that dog a dual purpose, kind of a historical significance name. That's what I want to do. So we have a lot going on here. I'm leaving here in 4 days. Like Thursday morning, I'm out of here. I am nervous as all hell. I tell you that. I'm nervous as all hell. I get crazy when this happens. So if my shows this week suck, that's why. I'm going to be stumbling all over myself all week. But
well, John, I do events like this quite often, and they come and they go. You can't make everybody happy, but hopefully the event succeeds in its goal of what you're trying to do. Craps Master Journey Joe says you should put all the times on the website in Vegas time. That is Vegas time?
It is Vegas time, yeah.
Okay.
Vegas time,
Just want to make sure. Yep. All right.
Yeah, Crapsy will log the amount of rolls. What I've got Duracell, by the way, put that comment up. The bottom row of the screens that you see are going to have that live tote board running, as well as a live 11s count. So I'm going to keep that little Midmo Yo mixer thing with the count. So that'll be updating in real time all throughout the both days. So I'll keep that. We're going to keep him front and center the entire time for sure. He meant so much to our community, and I think, whatever, good send off and good vibes.
Yes,
good
it is.
Will be here.
It is.
So it's gonna be a kind of a I don't know, whatever you want to call it, goosebump couple of days for us, I think.
Well, as you know, I haven't been able to make the first two of them, and I'm making this one, so I'm definitely going to be there, and I'm looking forward to it. Flying out from the East Coast. I know Chris Degen, I think he said he was going to join us here shortly. He and I come in about the same day, so hopefully it's going to be looking forward to seeing new people and people that I've met before, such as you. Craig, you had something you were getting ready to say?
I was just going to say, and Alfredo can say the same thing. Last year was a blast. Last year was an absolute blast, especially for the people who got to stay for the 24 hours. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
What was the thing last year? We had Vince was.
Oh my God, when Vince called out, my favorite 2 moments of my life so far, my craps life, are literally when Vince called out DGE for something. He was giving the business. It was like 3:00 in the morning. Nobody watched it but you, me, and Jen, right? And Vince was giving DGE a bunch of crap. And I'll beat your ass at a casino anytime. You bring the money and all whatever. And Charlie starts pulling out stacks of hundreds. He must have put 80 grand up on the screen. Remember that? Out of a duffel bag. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then, of course, Alfredo.
Charlie was on for over 2 hours.
He was on for almost 3 hours. Yeah, he ran at midnight for us. And then of course Alfredo busting up the 7-step martingale.
That was hilarious.
And Tony Leo saying, "What the hell? You can't do it again. You can't do it again." Let's put $14,000 out there and see what happens. Alfredo goes another 7. It was the greatest.
Snake oil salesman.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. And I'll say this legitimately. So there's a comment out there from Duracell. Would you put it up, Jeff, about Garrison advertising for his book? I want to address that for sure. Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Garrison is he's going to do that, right? That's what his whole life is about. We've talked. That's not happening here, right? He's here because he really believes in the cause. Patrick was a vet. They're good friends. he's here for the right reasons, and it's not going to be a shill show. I can guarantee you that. We'll not let that happen from anybody. There, a lot of guys that are coming have things that they sell, and that's not what it's about. It's about the cause. And so Bo Parker's coming to teach us something, right? And help, get people fired up to spend money on the cause. And Garrison has agreed the same thing. That's what it's about. It's about the cause, not about them. They just happen to be an interesting voice that can maybe tell some stories about this along the way too. That's what I'm after. So I will not allow that. You can guarantee Duracell, and Ed backed him up on that too. That ain't gonna happen. It's all about the cause. So
all right,
you have my word on that. You have my word. It's entertaining, and that's what it's all about. So yeah, 100%.
All right. So before we move off this topic, let's go ahead and remind anybody, if you'd like to get on the show, it's very simple. A link is pinned in the chat. Just put a name in there that I recognize that is truly you. If I don't recognize you, I will tell you so. And if you have a question for anybody on the panel tonight, or me or John or anybody that's in chat, because we do have a couple of people in chat that are welcome to join on the Zoom link. We'd be glad to see you in the Zoom link. Please put a capital Q or capital PC or OBC, whatever you want, TCS, whoever you're trying to address, and we'll try to get the questions. So start getting those questions in, guys. This is a free-for-all night. We're here tonight because basically we're less than a week from the 2023 Craps for the Cure. John, do you happen to have your shirt close by anywhere, or is it in the other room?
Right here. Did you get yours yet in the mail, Jeff? Or no?
I have. They haven't told me it's shipped, but I paid the extra $15 to get it here on time.
Yeah. Here it is. It's army green. It's hard to see, I know, but the front of it says CGTV. It's like a baseball jersey, right? Now, the weird thing about this is that, of course, most baseball teams like the Titans or something like ours is an acronym, so it's weird. But CGTV 23, the back says Craps for the Cure 23, and of course the Craps for the Cure logo is over there on the one of the sleeves. So that's the jersey. Nice. That's the baseball jersey that we're wearing. All of us staffers will have these on. Hopefully you'll get yours in the mail in time. And I've got to order one for Gargoyle. And actually, there, if you want one, I can send you the link. You can just go to the website and get it. But I told everybody who's donated to an item to the thing, I'm no problem buying those. So I'll make sure we will all connect separately.
Well, John, you showed the tote board, and you and I have talked offline. My channel, what's coming from there. I communicated today with the person who's getting me there because I'm just not quite at the 5G. I'm not at the 5,000, but he's in the chat with us at the moment. But I chatted with him today, and he's going to be there, so you'll be able to shake his hand. I'm not going to call him out unless he wants to be called out, but without his help, I don't know that I would have reached the 5,000 goal from the Mid-Atlantic Craps Channel donation. Although, as you know, I had to sidetrack in June, July because of the churro thing, and I think we would have gotten there. But in any event, that tote board's going to. I hope to see that rack up, really fast before we even have to get down to giving the raffles and that kind of stuff away on day 2.
I think this is going to be. I mean, like I said, you're rolling in there with 5. We've already got 1. Actually, there's 2,000 raised. If you think about the way that we did the ticket sales and everything else, we had between us about $7,500 raised right now out of the 50. So nice. I think we're going to do it. I really think we're going to do it. I'm telling you, it's going to be a Jerry Lewis moment when that tote bell hits $50,000. It's going to be insane in that place. Like, hopefully the mall's closed. We're going to be screaming.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. So once again, guys, if you have a question about this topic, please go ahead and ask it now. If you have a question for anybody on the chat, please put their name in capital letters, and we'll see about getting that. Now, we've got Alfredo, Craig, and Dustin on the Zoom call with us at the moment. I know Alfredo and Craig is going to be there. Dustin, are you going to be in town?
No, I have a conference and like a wedding and stuff, and F1 screwed up town and stuff, so I'm actually going to be gone.
Okay.
So no I problem. Won't be there.
So, Craig, we know that you've got the big. We know you got the big grudge match, but you've been there before. Or what are you looking forward to this year?
Oh, I'm really waiting on to hear all about the are there going to be actual veterans there, John, to speak at all?
I don't know. I mean, some people that work there are veterans. We weren't able to get anybody out there, if that's what you're asking. No.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing Lori's spiel about it. It's very, very interesting. To me, I just think it's a wonderful, wonderful cause. I'm stoked to try to hit that mark for you. We're going to do everything we can to get those donations in and get that tote board to go up, up, up. I know Ian's at Workhorse in the background and always telling us what the new tally is and the new donation that comes through. So I'm looking forward to that, and seeing you all again was so fun last year. Jeff, I'm so glad you're joining this year, and then it'll be interesting to do this battle with Chris. I kind of started some smack talk last night on a live show I did.
Well, speak of the devil. Speak of the devil.
There he is.
I don't know if he heard what you just said. Waiting for his audio to come up.
All right.
Chris, you here?
Apparently, I'm here. What are you saying, Craig?
I was saying, I think we're starting a little bit of smack talk. You're a Philly guy. You like to fight.
Of course.
Not that
Got the
very
best
guy
team in
anymore.
football, you know? I mean, what can I say?
Yeah, well, right now our teams are battling to get to the Super Bowl.
Well, let's keep this going. Since Chris just joined us, we'll come back to him and Dustin. But Alfredo, you're going to be there this year. What are you looking forward to?
Oh, Big AZ's going to be in town too as well. So I'm looking at spending
he's in
some
the chat,
time with him on Friday. I was just texting him back and forth. So I'm coming in on Wednesday evening. So anyone getting in early, shoot me a message. Be glad to play with you. Go have some dinner or something like that. Might stay until through Monday. I was supposed to leave Sunday night, but the conference said I was supposed to have the next week starts later in the week. So it went from a full week starting Monday to Wednesday to Saturday in Jacksonville. So I'll just looking forward to it. I think when we do this going forward, maybe creating Craps for the Cure or whatever you rebrand it as a 501c3 and making affiliate links so that we can send people to donate, and it can show, the channels that are filtering the donations through, so that it's more is going to the actual thing instead of taking greater money if it goes through a super chat or something like that. Would be something that would be great, because there are a lot more people that do lives and a lot more people that do shows that could take in those donations without having the YouTube or whatever cut, depending on which way you do it.
Well, we'll leave the website up. Now that we have this, we have a really great service that we're using now. I'll leave that up all year long, so you can always go to that website and donate directly, and that 100% goes to the charity.
Yep. And once again, there's the website, guys. Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm on
We've
the
talked
wrong
about
page.
turning Craps itself into a 501c3. There's a ton behind that, though. There's a lot that goes into that. If we just do this right here, we click that donate. That goes right to Veterans for the moving forward. It goes directly to them. 100% of it does. So there it is. There it is, Jeff Mack.
Yep. So,
yeah, I offered a buyout for the gargoyle thing, but it looks like there's already 7 people that put in a $25 bid. So I didn't hear from you, so I'm assuming that's not going to happen. So
yeah, let's Gargoyle asked me to tell you. We'll talk offline about other things for sure. But yeah, that one there's already bids on it, so we're kind of stuck in that one now.
Yeah.
All right.
That happened pretty quick too. That happened during the show, actually.
Well, I have a question here, John. It goes back. I think you have already answered it. I don't know if you saw, but Joe from Craps Master Journey said dog names have to be 2 syllables, or they should be. And then he mentioned, why don't we just name the dog Churro?
We could.
Churro
or Moochie. Yeah, Churro or Moochie would work. And again, Lori said that they typically name the dogs after a fallen vet, right? That's kind of their standard. So the dog carries with it a legacy. We have our own legacy with Churro. So I don't know what's going to be allowed. And so I was trying to find a name that might work both ways, might help us both out. So,
right. And there's a question here from Ian, who of course is your sidekick, doing a lot of work behind the scenes. He wants to know, where's everybody playing nightly after the events. Me personally, I'm only going to be playing Thursday night and Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and I fly out early Monday morning, so I'm not going to play Sunday. But Saturday's not out of the question. But I did see that you put out there that we're going to be at the Harrah's and Sahara. Say that 10 times. Is where we're going to be, where people will be playing at. But it's going to be good to see a lot of people there. And then also Ryan from Mark the Point asked, where the donation board is, and we'll pin that up here again in the chat here in just a little bit for people that want to go and see that. Looks like Mike the Bears has asked, how about a local news reporter coming Saturday for a TV interview for a promotion or a plug for the event? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, David's trying to get that to happen for us.
Okay.
David wants it covered locally, so that's hopefully going to be able to be a thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I'm seeing if I missed anything else while I was off the chat there. We have a question from Joe Ramus that I don't know if we'll get to in a little bit. So, guys, if you have a question for the show, now that we're getting past Craps for the Cure, or if you still have a question for Craps for the Cure, please, by all means, come on over to the chat and put a capital Q or whoever it's for, their letters in capital letters, and I'll catch it and I'll cue it up, and we will we'll pin it up there and see what's happened. Looks like Gargoyle just answered a question. Texas, if you're interested in my layout, we can. Okay, yeah, I'll get you that information, Alfredo, after the show, if that's all right with you. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there. So Craps, this is Craps Chat. Everybody, with the exception of the Dusted, that's not going to. It's on the screen now. Is going to be there. But we have other things to talk about. We have Craps to talk about. So let's get some questions in, guys. And let me see. Az just pinned something up here. Let me see what he said. Are ticket sales included in your total? Here's a question for you.
Yeah, partially. Yeah, some of the ticket sales goes to costs, right? So a few bucks of that went to cost. The rest of it goes into there. But the total tote board doesn't have a column for that. So I got to recode the tote board, have a fifth column that has event sales and everything else. Right now it's only at the 4 sections. So I have to add that in there.
Okay, so that gets
Yeah.
that
So
answered.
whatever you see right now as the tote board, add 1,500 to it. That's the answer, or 1,600. What you add to it.
Okay. Yeah. So we've got 1065 is what's on the tote board.
Yeah. So add another. I think it's either 16 or 14. I think it's $1,600. Add $1,600 to that on tickets.
So that would be roughly another 1,600 of that with the 5,000. We're sitting at just under $7,000 before we even open the door. So I mean that's
show up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's good
And
stuff.
somebody else asked too, Jeff. I got to cover this too. I think Gargoyle asked this to me, and I'll answer it for everybody so they can hear it. About the, I have to ask Lori how this works, but if you've donated something, right? There's a whatever you call that, like a gift receipt or whatever it is from the charity. So Vets Moving Forward will provide something to the people who donated something for what it's worth, so you can get a tax thing on your whatever. So
Right.
it doesn't come from me. It's got to come from Lori, and I don't know how they do it. And I don't even know how do you do it? Like, do you state the value ahead of time, or is it what it raised, or what? I don't know. So, but yeah, if you donated something, there's a tax deal for that, and that'll come from Vets Moving Forward. And I'll make sure that we coordinate that with her offline. So I didn't want to slip over that question because it came up last week, and I want to make sure we covered it.
Well, let's finish up the chat now from Craps for the Cure. We were 40 minutes into the show. We've dedicated a lot of time here. You did all the behind the scene work with a good crew. You did a good show on Friday. It's less than 5 days away. We're here. We do have, and I don't know where Chris went because they just switched on my screen here, but we do have this Battle Royal type event going on between Chris and Craig. And can we get just a little bit of history and maybe a little bit of banner from the two opponents before we hit our first question? Anybody?
I'll let Chris know.
Well, I think Craig's a little frustrated and a little mad at me because when I had Craig over at my house, I didn't realize that his daughter was in chat and she said, "Hi, Daddy," and I thought she was talking to me.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah, no dating a 25-year-old at the time.
At the time,
Oh, my.
correct. No, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I know this one was this one's in honor of Chiro because Chiro's the one who stirred up the whole Degen versus Craig thing, right? It wasn't like, something happened between the two of us. It was Chiro was really egging it on. Sideshow threw some jabs in there, and we're gonna do it in in honor of Chiro for one. And why not get to see two East Coast bird representing football teams go at it? And all I have to say
and if we
is, go
and
ahead.
if we shoot like we did at Parks, it'll be just like last year's.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, luckily, those Parks tables are non-existent anymore, and we don't have to worry about those tables because
But-
why bother?
there's one thing that's not happening, right? The all-in is taken out. I saw that in the
All-in is
private
gone.
chat group.
No.
Yes.
Everybody
all in.
hated the all. No going in. It's straight up. Yeah, 4 rounds. Remember how we did it last year? It was a round of hybrid, a round of dark side, a round of light side, a round of regression, and then a 30-roll challenge dealt by David at Casino Quest. That's the 5.
So
That's the 5.
So before I take you off the
right?
Before I take you off the spipotlight here, let's hear a little banter back and forth. Chris, you can do better than that, Craig. I know Craig can because he's like, he's gonna come out with a movie line or something. Come on, give us some
He can come
banter.
out with his movie lines. His shooting is garbage. That's all I know, and his craps play's even worse.
I mean,
So-
I've had your cheesesteaks. Talk about garbage. Jeez.
Oh, Craig.
Oh,
Would you like
no,
me to
no, no.
pull up- Oh,
Wow.
Hold on. I can pull up receipts right now of how good those cheesesteaks are, for one. Two, we were talking football earlier, and, Craig's on my Ravens. Anyway, the eagle is the symbol of the United States, and I will not let the eagle fall, okay? The eagle will prevail. I mean, I don't even know what you're going to do when you play hybrid. I don't know what we're going to do when you play dark side. You're probably going to go to my channel to watch some dark side videos, figure out how to play that. It's going to be great.
Well, if I want to find out how to play some horns, I'll definitely go to your channel.
Yeah. If you want to play some horns, I mean, listen, the horns might win. So
The horns might
it'll
win.
be good.
And I'm actually known for winning on a horn.
You are known for winning on a horn, but you've never played against this bull, and these horns will get you.
All right, that's a little better. That is
that horn. Look, even Layla, she knows.
Craig is great with a retort, that's for sure.
She's in my fan club right now. So I pull up the rest of my fan club.
Oh, so your fan club has one person. That's great.
Yeah, the four-legged person.
That was a good one, Craig. All right, guys.
One person has 4 legs. That's great.
Would you like me to get my cheerleader here?
Yeah.
Put a vote in the chat on who won.
I guarantee you, I give you 100% that if you get your cheerleader on, my cheerleader will not even come close to this room.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
She's rooting for me.
Hey, John, if you can, real quick, put a poll up in the if you can. I don't know if you can do it or not. Put a poll up as who's the favorite or who's the favorite. We'll see if it comes true. Yeah. So let's go ahead.
What is the prize? What is that stake?
You see what that is, Chris? That's 6-time crown win right there.
I
haven't played
think
against
you have
me.
to have one for shooting and then one for comedic material. I think Craig squeezed that out there.
They should have a get in your face craps, spit in each other's faces, yelling at each other at the table.
I have to look down to Craig.
Like the old XFL, get in your
It's like
face
spitting off a
crap.
mountain.
I'll give him that. I do have to look up at Chris.
Well,
But don't
it's off to an early start on the poll, and it's got Chris Dice Degen winning, but he's got you labeled as the other guy, Craig.
The other that
That's
a little unfair.
I can't argue. I can't argue.
That's about even
The
now.
other guy is.
Degen's got 4 points.
What is that stake? What does the winner get from the loser?
A signed bobblehead.
Signed bobblehead.
To do
okay.
what with?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
really.
What do I
you
want
get
to do with
that's
your
in the
Pro
bobblehead?
Craps signed bobblehead.
10 crabs or 10 Philly cheesesteaks.
There you go.
Someone said, like,
crabs.
A bushel of
all the
crabs
major
from
fans
Maryland.
should come together and play craps, and
Eugene
whoever's the
gave me
loser
crabs.
Yeah.
has to
Hey, Craig, there
delete
you
their
go.
channel.
A bushel of crabs from Craig and a whole bag of
So
Philly
whoever wins
cheesesteaks
has to
prepared by
delete
Chris.
Alfredo's channel.
Greg,
What'd you say,
No,
Craig?
no, no, no. It said that someone had an idea for something else, just like a bunch of
Greg
major
can keep the
YouTubers
crabs.
doing
I don't want them. I won't eat them. They're gonna go bad.
Well, you know,
he won't even eat the soup.
look, there's a money line out
what-
now. Here's your money
that was a
line.
money line. Yep.
There's your money line.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh, where's this coming from?
The other
Big
guy,
AZ.
Wow.
Wow.
Look at the
Wow,
other guy
the
is surging right
hometown-
here.
The hometown Philly boy is rooting against his own Philly boy. The only thing I have to say is, if you're gonna put the Philly boy at a dog, you better be prepared, because hungry dogs run faster. And you put Philly as a dog, you all know what happened. Philly is a dog. You all know what happens. Oh, see, Layla's even barking. She knows. She's rooting.
Well,
somebody's stealing your car.
the poll's coming in and it's switched, Chris. The other guy's
switched
leading by
to him.
20 points at the moment.
That's
Nobody's
fine. That's
jacking
good.
your car, Degen.
No one's jacking my car. They get shot when they are. They know better.
Take my car, please.
Hey,
All right,
and a craps related thing here. I just want to say, Crab and Camper is someone that's been supporting everyone's channel.
Yeah.
It is starting to do lives and starting to do some crapsies. So if you're not already subscribed to his channel, go out there and look it up at Crab and Camper. Great guy in the community, Brian. And I think he's doing some great things. Maybe you can give him some feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, on the last Friday Night Fights, he mentioned that Chiro's car, the race car that they did for Chiro, is still in
This race this weekend. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and move on to some craps questions. We have just a little under 50 watching us. Let me see if I might have to put this one up here before we move on. It didn't pop up here yet. Why did I come up here? Let's put this up from Adam. Craig will have to get his blue crabs from Louisiana. Maryland imports almost 30 million pounds of crabs a year, which is twice as what they produce. Here you go, Craig. Here's a perfect person that's not from the area, because there's nothing more. There's nothing better than a Maryland blue crab, and I have about 40 friends that go out every morning crabbing. So they may import them to fill the metropolitan area demand, but you and we only buy Maryland Chesapeake Bay blue crabs.
That's right. My father used to go crabbing in the 70s with my uncle.
Yep.
They get up at 4 a.m. to do that.
Yep. All right, let's get on to. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's a thing. You know?
It is a thing. It is. There's no doubt about it. Let's go start with the first question. This comes from Craftsmaster Journey. Joe, I wish you would join us. Look at Team Degen. Oh my God! I just looked over. I just looked over at the Zoom screen.
Nice and big, Jeff. You know what to do with that.
I don't know if I should do that, because I think you had a little help with that. I think you had a little help with that one. I really do think you had help with that one. I do, Chris.
That's awesome.
That looks like that
Just
might
a
have been
little
done
quick
from somebody else
concoction.
named Chris.
Just a little quick concoction, nothing major.
Yeah, but nobody's wearing red, Jeff.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
Love the red.
All right, let's get to some questions here. Let's get the show started here. Craftsmaster Journey, Joe, if you want to join the show, you can. Other than craps, what is your favorite hobby? Well, I have a couple. One, I volunteer with 2 organizations, and 2, I still play guitar. With that said, let's go around the table. Nemo's not had anything, no words yet. We'll start with him at the bottom of the screen. Good evening, Nemo. You got to have a hobby. So, what's your hobby? Turn your audio on. Turn your audio on.
I have too many to name.
Too many to name. Turn your audio off.
Essentially, he means he has
how's your
none.
crocheting going?
Jeez.
Alfred, you go ahead. What do you do beside play craps?
besides craps golf, but honestly, probably only been out 3 times this past year. So prior year, I got out about 30 times or so. So
All right.
I belong to an Air Force retired group that's able to get out 8 a.m. on the weekends, and you get weekday rates. So any of the weekends that I choose to jump in there, I can jump in there and be part of the group.
All right. And Dustin, what do you do for hobbies?
I'm a fisherman.
All right.
I love to fish.
Craig.
I cook, but you all know that I watch movies. I've done a 15-hour marathon in a theater before.
Wow. Wow. I'm not going to say anything. Something came to
That's
mind.
hard work.
Yeah, something came to mind. I'm just going to let that go. Chris, what do you do? Chris, what do you do as a hobby?
Sports betting and also like Alfredo golf. So Alfredo, I think we need to plan a trip out to Vegas, hit some craps on the tables, and then there's a course about an hour from Vegas that is absolutely gorgeous.
Paiute. Play wolf at Paiute.
Okay, so I think we have to plan a craps and golf trip and just get out there and play it.
Let's go to Mesquite. Let's go to Mesquite and do it. I love
That's what
golf.
it is. It's Mesquite. Yeah.
Yeah, Mesquite is fantastic.
Yeah. And we'll use the we'll use orange checks from the casino as our ball markers that we win that morning. You know.
There you go. Oh, pumpkins, baby.
Just 2
Pumpkins. Love it.
All right, so we went around the room on that question. Let me switch over here. Guys, if you have a question for the panel or you want something, we're going to get into some crash-related questions. I'm just trying to start at the bottom of the questions that came in first, nearly 45 minutes ago. Put it in a capital Q or put somebody's name next to it. Let's see here. There was a question. I don't know that Gargoyle is still here, and he's not on the panel, but Gargoyle, I know you were on the show the other night. There's a question here from James Newberry wanting to know what is your betting pattern, if you don't mind. I know we talked about it on the show. If you can answer that in the chat, that would be great. If not, I don't know that you're still here, but I appreciate that. So we have a question here from the 300 Club. We know who that is. So Buckeye asks, what is the most you've ever bought in for, and did you actually affect your win-loss ratio? Who wants to go first with that? We should start with Dusted. Let's start with Dusted.
Probably the most I've ever bought in for was about $20,000. I tried to prove a 5 and 9 hopping series that paid out quite handsomely per hand, and it was quite a lengthy memorization for the rollout. I got it someplace. I think I even sent it to Vince Canada at one time too, but he never put it out there. And then another time I bought in for, on that I won about 10 grand, and then another time I bought in for about 20 grand and made about 25,000, but not playing that. So.
All right. Let's go over to Alfredo. Top of the screen.
Yeah, the most I've ever bought in for was like 5,000. I don't think I've ever gone over that. Now I've blown more than 5,000 in a day several times, and
I know where to hit you up next weekend.
But yeah, the most was 5,000. What I inevitably found was trying to buy in for more or taking more bankroll. You don't really need to do that to get money and make money. For me, because of the skill, I'm able to make just as much buying in for 1,000 or 500 as I would for buying in for 2,000. And in most cases, I'm never at a table where I'm going to be able to use that type of buy-in. But if you go to like Chicago Rivers or something like that, where the table limits are like 25,000 and at a $5 table, you might be able to leverage a higher buy-in to be able to press some of those things that you're not supposed to do, like martingale, which will kill you.
Yeah. Right. All right. Right below you, Chris Dice Degen.
I think the most I ever bought in for was I I guess it's a private table to Trop. Bought him for 2K. It didn't really change anything that I did. It didn't help me. The table was so cold that I ended up leaving anyway. It didn't help me do anything better. I don't think it didn't hurt me. I guess. I don't know. I feel like comfortable with my standard buy-in and how I play with that, so I don't really feel the need to go in for a ton more. I don't think it benefits me personally, but just teach their own.
All right, Nemo.
Most that was for me is 2,000, but I'm able to go in on tables within roughly around $400 to $500. So I'm capable of doing that.
All right, Craig.
The most I think was 900 at a local. Walked away with 100 that day, but bought it for 9.
Yeah.
Hey, walking away with something is better than getting felted, which happens.
And all 800 that I lost was previous profit from a previous trip.
That's John. I muted you, so we only heard a couple dog barks. I saw you put a comment in there, but I muted you. So, John, what the question? In case you forgot it, the question is. Oops, that's not it. It's about what is your biggest buy? What did I do there? What is? Yeah. Here it is. What was the most you ever bought in for, and did it affect your win loss? That was the question. Shoo.
Yeah, I don't buy in for a lot. Like the most ever, probably 2,500. But I don't do a negative progression, so I don't need that much. Like Alfredo was saying, I don't need to go deep to make it. It's either going to happen or it's not. And I don't play at the $100 tables where I need that kind of power behind me. So, I've done that a couple of times. Most times it's $1,000.
Right. Well, my average.
I think when the time I did that, and I've done it a couple of times, but the times I do that, you feel a little like you're out over your skis. I think, and you do dumber things because you have more chips in the rack, and you just don't. I don't think you make the same sound decisions that you make when you have less money in your rack, or when you're tighter to the vest. So that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, false security is what I felt, and that's why I stopped taking 20, 25,000. It just didn't make sense. You just don't need that much to make money, and if you're needing that much to get to profit, then you're probably doing a lot of stuff wrong, and you probably shouldn't be shooting at that point.
Well, with me, my average buy-in is 600 to 1,000. I have bought in a couple times at 2,000, and the adage of win more, bring more. If you're going to play at a higher level, I think that holds true for me. I would have to bring more, but if you play it at a lower level, 600 to 1,000 is fine. Even 1,000 at a $25 table. But I have bought in for 2,000, and it actually did help me. I don't know if it gave me more confidence or I just got the luck of the dice. I don't know what it was, but that was a nice win for me. But the biggest one I ever had was from a $500 buy-in. And I've mentioned that on other previous shows. Guys, if you have a question for the show, put a capital Q, or you have to put something in there because I can't read everything that's flying by here on the chats. Draws my attention, and I'll queue it up and we'll get back to it. So appreciate it. Guys, if you would in the chat, if you don't mind, let's kind of try to stay civil and let's keep the show moving on. Let's see. We've already hit Alfredo's question about Brian, who is Ziggy, who is a crapping camper. So welcome into the community, and he's including Crapsy. That's good as well. Let's see here. This comes from James Newberry. Next question. Let's hear from the panel on the favorite approaches, strategies to the game, and betting patterns. Guys, you know what I'm going to say. I don't have a strategy on the light set. I do have a strategy on the dark side. I do have a strategy on the hybrid side, the light side. I'm a true trend better. With that said, enough said about that. Let's move on, and we'll start with... Dustin's got his finger up. At least I think that's what it was. Go ahead, Dustin.
Well, let's talk about the dark side, I guess. Did you get the first part?
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about dark side betting and just betting the dark side line. I don't understand why people, if you're gambling, why you don't, again, kind of bet your place bets on the come out. Because on the come out and you're betting the dough, you're betting that the seven's not going to come up. So there should be other numbers that you're calling safe in that come out roll too, if you're a real gambler. That's just one of my thoughts of playing the don't.
All right. Well, what about
You're also
any other?
multiplying your losses if you do that, right?
Well,
Because
yeah,
the easiest way to lose on a don't is come out 7 or 11.
but I'm
stack
still
up losses.
saying, as a gambler,
Yeah.
I'm saying you're betting the don't pass as a 7, yes, and 11, but mostly a 7. So why don't you, bet the place bets too? I guess you could
lose them
cover the
because you lose them all. If you have $100 in the don't, hold on. If you have $100 in the don't and 160 in place bets, you got 260 at risk for a come out 7. That's just stupidness. That's why you don't do it.
100%.
Yeah, but
And if you're going to
I agree with that guy.
place bets on the come out roll, you got to have rules behind that. You turn your place bets on for the come out roll.
Yeah, but
once.
most people gamble because they think they can win, right? Like what John's saying. Like it's stupid to put that much at play to win one bet.
And that's
Pop the couple
Alfredo,
numbers that you have a feeling of.
And right
Crazy.
off that, I mean,
risk reward is not there.
There's a difference
for
between
that.
gambling and being a gambler, right?
Yeah.
And if you're going to be a gambler and do stuff like that, that's like degenerate gambling. It's not gambling and being a gambler. It's the same thing as like taking your whole entire bankroll, throwing it in the field because you have basically a even shot of winning, if you want to classify it as that. I mean, there's a difference between gambling and being a gambler and calling yourself a gambler. There's different levels to that. And I mean, I'm on the same page where why would you bet more to lose just because that 7 may come, right? If you're playing the don't, you want that 7 to come eventually. You're not saying that another number is going to come. You're just saying that the 7 is going to come before the point comes again.
Yeah.
So it's like betting on the 7 to come twice, or betting on the 7 before that number comes again twice, not just once.
well,
Okay. Go ahead. Let's keep the discussion going. Nobody?
Yeah, I think once you get to a gamble phase, like what Dustin is saying, you need to walk. You need to get the fuck off the table. If you're getting to the point where you're just like, let me just go ahead and rail dump. Because what you see in craps, what happens all the time. I mean, I've gotten, like, I'll actually play the don't. But if someone hits me twice on the don't, I'm not just going to pile more money into it. I know there's ladder systems of pressing up, and you will eventually win. You get to a high end of that if you're already starting at a $50 bet or a $100 bet. If you're going to have to ladder, and how many people have a stomach for putting 2,000 on the line before you're even having a chance at winning because someone's hit you with 2 come out 7s, hit their point. Now all of a sudden you're in the predicament where you have a really big ass bet out there. That's don't let one person kill you. My betting style is more light side. If it's on random people, I'm going to pick 2 numbers and then I'm going to spread out. If I'm betting on myself, of course, I'm probably going to bet across because I do hit a lot of 4s and 10s. If I didn't hit as many 4s and 10s, I probably wouldn't play across. I would only play inside. And I also integrate, if things are choppy, a 6-8 at a higher level with a field, and I'll hop the 5. So I'm getting about the same payout, but I'm leveraging less money to be able to do it and less exposure overall. So, but just as I think Jeff said, trend betting. Like, I adjust everything. There is no one strategy. I adjust all throughout according to whatever the table's doing. What are the specific people doing? Do they have a dominant number? And then I'll adjust there. That's just my betting.
I like what the Gargoyle just put up there too. I guess I must have missed something about. Oh, here it is. I see it. This is what he's saying here. To what Arnell said at first, it's all gambling because there's no guarantees, and then Gargoyle comes back and says there is a difference between gambling and smart betting. And I played with Arnell, so I know that he is a smart bettor. I know that portion of it, but I also agree that you have no guarantee. But yeah, let's not call it trend betting, Alfredo. Let's we're going with the. Can I use the word variant? Is that what is it?
Yeah. Betting the variance.
Let me jump in and clarify that, because I think we have. I know we have Jeff likes to say the word trend betting. I know that Dustin likes to say it too. And for the record, right? if you're a dice influencer and you're making things happen, you are creating a trend, and that's totally fine to say. I'll never give you shit about that. Like that's where I think it goes. People don't understand what I'm saying when I am saying there's no such thing as a trend. If you are creating the trend, you're creating the trend. That's totally fine. You can bet into that as much as you want to, but randomness doesn't create trends. That's where I draw the line on the word. But as far as trend betting, for sure, I think you have to lean into what's happening, and that's why all these different strategies. There's no such thing as a strategy is a strategy. It's where your money goes and how much are you going to press up or not press up, or where you're going to move your bets to based on what you're seeing, or based on what your rhythm is. I think most of us can agree that we play with some sort of a rhythm. Like when this happens, I do that every single time, or I've got 3 different rhythms that I choose from. Either it's an aggressive rhythm, or it's a regressive rhythm, or it's a lean in my feet into the pond kind of rhythm. But no matter what you want to call it, it's a rhythm that you press with. And Ed made this point the other night, which is you better damn well know what you're going to do next. Like have your next bet ready, have your cap out there. So when it goes to here, you're dropping your $10 to get your 100, whatever it's going to be. Know your rhythm, know what you're going to do, whether it's light or aggressive, or whether it's regressive or progressive. Just have a rhythm. And that's what it all comes down to. My personal preference is to regress and then hammer it. That's my personal way. I want to be safe early so I can have an aggressive run on the right side, which I think is fine. I'll go after what's coming after I get mine. And I think getting mine, I need more numbers covered because I want to be out early. I don't want to have 2 numbers out there sitting like ducks getting picked off, waiting to get out of the fucking hand. I want out of that hand quick. I'd rather go a little bigger across to limit the number of rolls I need to get out of the hand, and then I'll go. That's my gamble. I'll take, like Dustin said, I'll take a bigger risk early to get out quick if I'm going to play at that style. As long as every bet has a purpose and you're betting with rhythm following that, I think you're going to be okay. But you got to know that. You can't just go out there and guess at it and go, well, it feels like a 5's coming because I saw that guy over there threw a 5 and the guy over here threw a 5. So that means this guy's going to throw a 5. That's a stroke job. You can't be you can't be betting like that.
Can you do that again, please?
Well, John, again, like you say, you don't like come betting. I'm still like, if I play the light side, I'm an old school come better.
I don't love it.
But I prime the line before I get out there, and I play. I'm an aggressive player. I'll admit it. And I play every roll. Like I'll play the come out. I'll lose the $300 on a roll. But again, I make it up someplace else. I grind it. I jump it. I have to move the money around. I don't stay at a level and then just like regress all the time. Sometimes you do have to go at Nemo hyperspeed. You do to make your money and get out. And it matters what you're playing for too, though.
Dustin, here's the thing, though. Like, I get that. That's your style of play. I know more people in big-ass debt trying to play craps at some crazy level that they can't support. They're getting markers, they're doing different things, and they eventually get it back. But they're stuck 15,000 because they keep on getting markers, and they try to bet this 600 across style. And guess what? People PSO back to back to back to back. It happens. You stay at a table long enough, you're going to get a 1 hit, and your regression points even at 2, you're going to have a bunch of times where you don't hit that. So doing that, unless you get a really big hit before you hit these really bad runs that will happen, you're going to be further away from your goal than anything else. And if your goal's 20,000, what the fuck are you betting 600 across in the first place for? Because you're eventually going to get there betting 500, getting 500 and betting 110 or betting 66 if you know how to bet. Because the big runs are going to happen, whether it's a random person or a DI. You just need to know how to bet and understand when you're seeing consistency, and when that consistency happens, take advantage of it. However,
sometimes you have to pay a big retainer for an attorney. So.
Well, yeah. How many people are like DGE and have that duffel bag filled with cash and can continue to take it out? Most 99% of the people don't have that. And for people to spew that that's an okay way to bet is bullshit, because that's going to get people in debt and going to have them really lose their ass, lose their house, lose their loved ones, because they can't support that. And that is straight gambling. Unless you have skill where you can bet at a certain level and you have the bankroll to match it, you should never even be thinking about a bet like that. And even if you had the bankroll to match it, why do that? The limits at the table don't even allow you to extract what you would want to, trying to buy in for that much.
All right. Well, I reposted the question on the screen here. The question initially was, what is the most you ever bought in for, and did it actually affect your win loss? And we kind of had a discussion where it took us.
You went to the other question about the play style.
Yeah.
You went about your betting style.
Yeah, it's kind of a joint question, right?
Oh, sorry, James's question. Sorry, there you go. Yeah. Betting style. There you go. Thank you, Alfredo.
Yeah.
So that's the question. Sorry. Here for the panel, what's your favorite approaches and strategies of the game and betting patterns? We kind of kicked that around. Anybody else in the panel have any discussion about what John or Alfredo or Dustin once said in regards to that, or maybe you have your own answer to the question? Leon, welcome to the show. Great craps.
Chip. I'm sitting quietly on the sidelines. Just I'll go ahead and answer both questions. Most I've ever bought in for is 300. I'm a low roller, so I got you beat there, Craig. And most of the time I'm real fond of the dark side, and I play a 6, 7, 8 most of the time, or a version of that, unless I'm playing bubble. And then with bubble, you can try to mess around with the increments and play it like it's a much bigger bankroll than it is. But really, it doesn't matter. It's a negative expectation game. And I think one of the disservices that a lot of us are doing is putting out these strategies that have huge bankrolls and huge expectations for wins, and that's just not real life. Your average shooter in Vegas is not a DI. They're not a controlled shooter, whatever you want to call them. They're just Joe there for the weekend, and not our Joe. None of our Joes. They're just
I have a question for you then. Sorry to interrupt, but how many, like on your come out roll, how many bets do you make, Leon? How many bets do you make, Leon?
Well, most of the time I'm playing the 6, 7, 8. I'm just putting that DP up.
Just the DP on that. What about you? What about you, Alfredo? How many bets do you usually put on your come out?
It's a good question. Depends on what type of table I'm at. If I'm at a fire bet table, it's probably only the fire bet and a small crap check for like a couple dollars, just to match whatever my pass line is. But if I'm betting the ATS, I do have a lot of bets out there. I have my pass line. I have a crap check. I might also have a hopping 7 or any 7, depending on the level of the ATS that I'm on. If it's on myself or someone else, I'm still going to have some version of support for that. I don't like making line bets if I'm further down the line, so I'll just hop a 7 instead, instead of getting chips in the way of a landing zone.
Well, again, if I'm going to play the don't side, I'm going to make my 3 bets, and you make your 3 bets the way you like to, and I make my 3 bets the way I like to on the come out from the don't. I don't think anyone has a problem with 3 bets. I think what a lot of people think when they say I work the come out is they think I'm working the entire inside or I'm working the entire cross. No, that's typically what a lot of people end up doing, which gets them into trouble. If you're betting 2 bets, you're fine. You're fine. I mean, you can bet 2 bets at any time. The problem is if they don't hit, then you're going to reap the consequences.
All right. Anybody else want to comment on this topic before we move on?
That's that I missed. What are your 3 bets that you're putting up on the come out?
Me, I'll do a don't and then like a 6 and 8. I usually, if I'm playing at a $25 table, and I don't play this way, but I used to, I would do a $72 6 and 8 and $100 on the don't pass.
Yes, and you put them up on the come out, working.
Yep, working all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's where I differ because those come out, sevens will get you, and the 11s too. So I've been bit too many times, even at small bankroll, and
So,
they'll get you.
so we had 23 shooters today, and 10 come out sevens. Think about that. 10 come out sevens. Your 6-8 are down, including your pass line.
Yep.
Puts you down. What is that? 69 bets. Bet. Good luck.
Yeah, you can hedge with those hops, but you're just going to eat into your future wins if you do that. So,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next question. I'm actually going to go to the very last question that came in because he's asking for a friend. So let's go over and hit this question. Then we're going to come back and we're going to get the question about how do you carry your money home. That'll be the next question. Big AZ asks, he needs some help. After having a reserve table playing with the Blue Wrench crew, how do you adjust your plan to a table with randoms in the public who have no, I think that's etiquette, I can't see from here, knowledge or constantly do things that annoy? And he said he was asking for a friend. AZ, I've been there with you when that happened, and it is an adjustment, and I don't know. We'll go through the panel to see if anybody can say, let's take Chris and John and Craig that I've played with, and if you're on a table, Alfredo, with people that you know, and then all of a sudden they kind of thins out, and you get those people, I think that would apply to the same thing. But as we know, AZ records a lot of live stuff, and it's typically 10 to 12 of his crew members around it, and then as they filter out, random people get on the table.
I think those of us who have a local casino that's reliable, I find that the etiquette at the local is either heinously bad or really good because you get the same people, and I have higher expectations that people locally are gonna do things quote unquote the right way from an etiquette standpoint. In Vegas, to a lesser extent AC, but for sure in Vegas, I have zero expectations of good etiquette. I really don't. I think everybody's out there drunk partying, buying in for too much money, and who cares, right? I think if anybody does it right in Vegas, I'm like, that was nice, and to me it's a bonus. Atlantic City, I feel like is kind of like a lot of regulars, and here a lot of regulars. The regulars are either better or they're always bad, and you know what to expect. So I don't have any expectations of a random person at Vegas doing anything right. As a matter of fact, I'm ready for it to be ugly, and that's why I had zero concerns. I mean, I did that whole douchebag series about you're a douchebag if you do all these things. It doesn't honestly bother me though. Like buying in mid-roll kind of bothers me, but everything else I just don't care about, and I don't buy into superstition or the timing or anything else. I just don't. So for me, I have a who cares attitude. That's personal. But that's not about their shooting. That's just about their acting like idiots. I think in Vegas, everybody's an idiot. And they're all potentially drunk. They're all on some whatever, bachelor party or a wedding party or somebody's 21st birthday. You just expect a bunch of morons. And Dustin lives there. Probably a better answer than that for locals that you would go to. But if you're going to go on the strip on a Friday, you're playing with idiots. And you got to just expect that there's no etiquette. That's how I see it.
Well, again, it's just like you can go there and there's so many tables. If you have a problem, like I was at Sam's Town just recently and I was playing and I'm like stick 2 and there's a guy next to me who's a black guy. And this little Asian guy comes in and he wants to be stick 2 and he's like pushing me, to get in there. And I said, I'm standing here. I don't fight with them. I just pack up and leave and I go to another casino. That's the easiest way. Just, you don't confront people, you just go on. Here, have it then, I guess. And you try and get off the table as soon as you can. Sometimes you gotta watch people like that too, because there's chip bandits too. There's
for sure.
There's all kinds of crazy stuff, and I don't know if any of you ever been here during the national finals rodeo. That's one of the most craziest weekends of them all, or the 10 days during the rodeo.
All
I'd
right.
like to
Anybody
hear
else?
from Degen on that one. But I mean, the big thing with like mood of the table, people not knowing the etiquette, you're going to have to play a shorter game, right? Like you can't camp at a table that is just not doing the right things. Ultimately, that's going to mean that if you get a decent hit, get out and get out. Because if you're asking someone that's placing money straight down the line, that's a light side player, shouldn't be putting money in your way. So can they push their bet to the side a little bit? And they're like, no, this is a legal area. Well, they're not there to win money. They're there to be an asshole. And I've never seen a table win money that has a bunch of negative energy at it. So just get out of there. Try to get your hit and get out of there.
Chris, you have anything to add to
Get
that?
on a shirt, Alfredo. The negative energy thing, it's so true. I mean, playing in and around Philly, a lot of assholes nonstop. It's just what it is. I look to get away from that, honestly. I don't like to play on those kind of tables. Not for the reason that people are like being assholes and the etiquette thing. It bothers me, but I don't let that be what gets me away from the table. It's that negative energy. It's like constant bitching, moaning, complaining about this, or somebody's, even if there's a good roll going on and somebody's just like complaining to the dealers. I've had times, and Craig was actually there for one of them with, somebody just like constantly harping on the dealers or something. It's just not the place that I want to be. So I look to leave. If that means I go to a different table, great. If it means I'm leaving the casino, it is what it is. I don't want to sit there. I don't want to be there. There's no need to be around it. Going to have fun, obviously make money too. But when I go to play and I'm going to play just by myself, I'm there to get in and get out. I'm not trying to sit there and have social hour for 4 hours, right? I'd rather nobody talk to me. I'd rather keep my head down, play what I'm playing, win what I want to win, and get the hell out of there. I don't want to sit at the table for hours. It's not my job. Now, if I'm sitting there with a group of people that, craps community or people who are, I'm friends with and everything like that, then that's a little different story. But even then, I'll just pull my money up. I'll go to the cage, color up, and I'll sit there and watch them play. There's no need for me to sit there and play.
It's like what Gargoyle said the other night. It's if you're there to play and win your money, like most of us are pretty serious players, right? Do a coffee run. Like, don't put yourself in a position to play with idiots. Go in the morning, go late at night. If it's crazy town, then if that's not your vibe, then don't play. I'm not a believer that negative energy costs me money, but it costs me a good time. And I'm not going to play where I'm not having fun. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm not enjoying it, I'm out. But I don't believe that morons make the dice roll bad. Like, I'm not a believer there at all. But why would you play when you're not having any fun? Like, if the time sucks, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. If you're there to to make your 10%, and you're there at 9:00 on a Friday in the middle of the strip, then you're a fucking idiot anyway. You're not gonna. That's the wrong time to do that. Like, take yourself there in the morning and make your money. Don't try and do that. Don't make that move in the middle of crazy town. That's just the wrong time and place. You know what I mean? Like, you, as professionals or whatever you want to call us all, right? We have to make better decisions. And better decisions is choosing your time and place. And that's, you just don't put yourself in a spot where you're gonna be encountered by a bunch of idiots. Just don't do it. Coffee runs, side casinos, go off strip. If you want to go out there and actually play, put yourself in a position to win. And that you control the environment. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Looks like I actually deleted the question that I'm going back through.
A lot of great talk going on about the $10,000 thing, Jeff. There's a ton of great talk.
And that's the one I was going to bring up, and for some reason,
Jeff,
it disappeared off my queue question.
I go straight through the scanner. You have the money in your hand. They never tell you anything about it as long as you declare that it's in your hand. I don't put it in my suitcase. I don't put it in the bag because I'm carrying usually 10,000 or slightly more than that, and it's wrapped in a rubber bands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would echo that. I'm not saying that what Duracell and a couple of the other ones are saying in here that they have an issue with it, and there's federal agents there looking for laundering money and drug money. But I've had $10,000 on me, and when you go through the scanner, they don't want you to put it in. They don't want And I'm pre-clear, and I have another authority that I don't have to take everything off, but I hold it in my hand and I say, what do you want me to do with this? And I'm literally holding a round section of money like this. And they say, oh, just hold it up in your hand. When you go through the scanner, just hold it up. They don't ask me how much it is. They don't ask me where it came from. They don't do any of those things. I've done that probably 2-3 dozen times. I don't like specifically carrying that kind of money. I know some of the comments in here, and it'd be hard for me to go back, would be to, wire it to, set up an account and have the casino wire back and forth, but I think there's all kinds of ways to go through there. But me personally, I have never seen, and I don't travel like a lot of other people do, I've never seen anybody pulled aside and that I played craps with. I'm not saying there's not been some shady things going on in the airport, but that I agree with Alfredo. Has anybody had an issue with carrying a large sum of cash and had to explain it at the TSA or any other airport authority?
I haven't personally had an issue with it, but I do have a friend who goes to Vegas quite frequently, and he uses private jets, and the jet seats for the same price as like a regular flight, and he uses services like that, and you don't have to go through security. He's never had an issue doing anything like that, so it's an idea. You'd have to look more into it, but I do know somebody who does it that way.
All right. Anybody else had an issue here with the money or want to comment on it? John, you carry large sums of money, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've never had an issue with it. But again, we've had this happen a couple of times. We've learned through the course that my bank has a branch in Vegas, right? Matter of fact, I use my banks have branches all over the country. So I can deposit and withdraw with no fees anywhere I want to, right? So the other question was asked was about, do you get security when you win a bunch of money at the table? Yes, you can request security to walk you wherever you need to get to. But I deposit the money before I leave town. So I'm not rolling into an airport with $6K in my pocket or my duffel bag, right, that I could lose. Not just get my ass kicked, right, but lose or misplay or have a problem. I just deposit it. I don't see why that's such a difficult problem to solve, but the casino can do wires for you. If you do that, then you're in the system, and that's a pain in the ass. It's a reason if you're winning 10 grand on the regular and you're buying in for 25K on the regular, that's marker time. That's the reason why you have markers, is because it's hooked into your account. You pull the money out, you cash in, it goes back into your account, and it's a done deal. But for me, right, my banks are everywhere. So I did that on purpose. We had this a few times when we were younger, Kathy and I, and we're like, oh, wait a minute, why don't we just bank with, and I could roll into town with zero money in my pocket, $100 to tip the guy, go to the ATM, and for no fee, pull the money I want to gamble without. That just seems to me like a no-brainer. Like, you can avoid all this bullshit by just using regular life. Like,
there are mechanisms you can.
Not that hard,
You can do as well. So let's say you take 5,000, you get on a table for $1,000, you end up a roll of a lifetime. Something happens, and you have 15,000 that you cash out. You still have that 5,000-ish on you. Let's say you want to, you can keep the 10,000, right? Go through, just declare it. It's in your hand when you go through the scanner. Ask for that other 10,000 or 5,000 or whatever it is additional that you don't want to carry around with you to be a cashier's check. They'll happily write you a cashier's check and give it to you, and then you can just deposit it anywhere, including there in Vegas, so you don't have to take that with you and forget about cashing it in. So
I'd like to win $10,000 enough times to make this a problem. I just say that.
That's a good point.
This is not top of mind for me, right? But the 3 or 4K that I typically would come home with, I deposit it.
John, it don't stop. It don't stop from there. You know that. Once you win that, then you go, well, then I want to win the next level. But
Not
you
me.
just gotta.
that's gambling. That's gambling. We're talking about gamblers.
You just want to go to the next level, John. That's you. You're always going up.
I will be going up, but that's
all the time.
But that's a different.
You say goals when you probably take toilet paper off the roll.
Yep.
Oh, you gotta use 4.
Oh my God! Let's move on to some questions here. We're gonna talk about a subject that John would like very much. It has nothing to do with TP. Where to go here? Let me pick this question up. Matt Kenna says, what's the most number of come out sevens you've seen and thrown in the casino? Now, I guess that takes you and I out, and Alfredo out of the question doing it live on YouTube. So we're going to talk casino, John. But I know that you, Alfredo, and me have thrown quite a few come out sevens
I did it live
on our
with,
shows.
with Big AZ.
Yes, you did. Yep.
Over at Ellis Island. You were
also
on the
did it
table.
live at Crash for the Cure last year.
Oh, and did it live.
Tony Leo system, yeah.
I saw
So
a guy
anybody
here at our local. So Ian Olson and I watched a guy not 4 or 5 months ago had 6 straight come out 11s, like consecutive.
Wow.
Right, damnedest thing I've ever seen. That's tough. I mean, the sevens or something. But yeah, I've seen 10 before, in a live casino, but not by me. I haven't actually done that. I think I've done 2 or 3.
Let's go around
The
real quick
11
and
is
ask
more like one. Yeah.
and ask Craig, how many have you ever seen in a row? You're new to the game, but
I've only ever seen 4 in a row, and I've only ever thrown 3 in a row. But just like John said about like a different number, you and Chris at the Trop, I think that guy, I think he hit 5 or 6 ace deuces in a row.
yes, it was more than that. Well, he hit them in a row, but in the span of his 30 or 40 rolls, Chris, what would you say? Probably hit it a dozen times?
Yeah, I wish I was just playing a progressive
I mean,
bet on the ace deuce, because would have walked out of there with 10K, and I would have needed security to walk me out.
And he went from the $400 horn bet to $400 on each one of the high horns. So I mean, it was insane. It was just insane. It was. All right, Leon, for you, how many have you ever rolled, and how many have you ever seen?
I have seen 7. As far as how many I've ever rolled, probably 3. I don't think I've ever rolled more than 3 in a row myself. But I've seen 7, and not good to be a don't come out player when those are full. So,
all right. And no, to answer Biff's question, the guy, if you're talking to what we were, he was setting the dice? I thought he was not. Okay, we'll let that go. Oh, I know which one we're talking about. I got the wrong hand. Chris and Craig, that's when I was putting the field bet out, and you guys thought I should have been. Yeah. You're right. You're correct. That is right. So Nemo, how many in a row for you, and how many have you seen?
All right, 2 in a row from other people, but me 3.
Okay. Honest question. Dustin?
I don't know about sevens. I'm like, I throw a lot of hardways and pairs and stuff. But I've seen line decisions, I've seen 14. There was like 9 sevens, 2 11s, and 2 craps. That was at the Palms when it first opened. I was there, and a guy threw it. He had 3 guys with him, and he threw that. Wiped me out, too. Right, Alfredo? Wiped me out.
Alfredo, you're next.
The most I've ever thrown was 8. So I've done 7 live with some of you guys a couple of times, but 8, and then the most I've ever seen was 9 on actual sevens in a row. Now, come out decisions, totally different story. I've seen some astronomical number there. I think it was like 16 or something like that before a point was established. So it happens.
John.
And then if you're on a world bet at that point, you're really happy.
Yes, you're right. Yep. John, and for you?
For the sevens question?
Yes.
No, I answered earlier. I think I've thrown 4, but
sorry.
I've seen like, I think I've seen 10. So.
Okay.
And it's crazy when you get a run of, like, I'm sure the ace deuce was crazy. R11 was crazy. You see a run of like 10 sevens, that table's going bonkers. Right? That's when you start getting people over from the blackjack tables, right? I mean, that's like the once in a lifetime super fun thing that craps is kind of famous for.
No, that's when
Unless it's an
that's when your
ATS
dollar,
table.
That's when your dollar.
Unless it's an
top bet
ATS table, and then you're selling John's book. Don't bet the ATS because you just burned. You got nothing out of that. All those sevens, right? That was a bunch of ties. That was like 7 ties in a row. Yay.
All right. I think this is next question is Chris. Did I bypass you by that question, or did you kind of like chime in between?
No, I just wanted to know somebody else's comment. The most I've thrown in a casino consecutively is 4. Most I've thrown on the same come out hand is 7, but there was horns mixed in there.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. This is going to be a real quick a question to be answered. This is asked by Buckeye. How do you actually play with real money? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? I would say I'm moderate and aggressive when I'm up. So what say you, John?
Same. I'm more conservative until it's time. I miss
Right.
a lot of big rolls because I'm so conservative, but I'd rather be that way.
Okay. And how about you, Leon?
Conservative. I tend to stay pretty disciplined most of the time.
All right. Craig.
Yeah, conservative. And then when I'm shooting, I like to think that I'm going to be better. So I'll bet more aggressively.
All right. Chris?
Although I think I should start,
Oops.
I should start dark side on myself when I first get to a casino before, so I can warm up.
All right. Chris?
I would say the same boat as you and John. I'm pretty conservative, and if I'm up, then I'm more aggressive.
All right. Nemo?
I'm various. No, it very depends on my condition of shooting. So I'm just various.
All right. Dustin?
I would say that I play at a very aggressive level, but I play my level very conservative. I don't make the numbers look like I do when I play online.
All right.
I'm
And
not that
Alfredo?
whimsical with my
Oops.
money, I would say, when it's real cash. Okay, guys?
All right.
Yeah,
Alfredo?
I would say I'm conservative on most people unless I've known them and shot with them for a while. I might be a little bit more moderate. For myself, moderate. And then as I know that I'm starting to shoot well, I'll get really aggressive.
All right. Anybody else want to chime in on their style of play?
I
If
think
not, we'll
most
move
people are
on
pretty
to.
conservative, aren't they? It's interesting.
Well, I said moderate, but aggressive
Yeah.
when I'm up. So
Yeah, I think
you know,
the whole thing of like aggressive when you're up, like there are times where I think we all want to regress or play a little hybrid conservatively to kind of get there. But there's do you ever times you just go out table minimum and just kind of, foot on the gas when you're not up?
Well, when
you ever
you're-
do that? Just for
2
the hell of
hours
it,
before
just-
you're going to jump on a plane or something like that.
Yeah, right.
it's
I
time
had to
to
stop
go.
myself from doing that. I've blown more money doing that over the years, and I've set the limit where it has to be the same as every normal day because I've torched some money that way.
On the footsteps
I've
of
been playing this-
Alfredo, I've vowed, do not go to the casino on the day that you go to the airport.
Yep.
Missed
Yeah.
a flight because of it.
Right. Nope.
I've been playing this way. The reason why I asked the question is I've been playing this way on the morning shows that I saw Jacob do. And I think it's really an interesting and fun way to approach it, which is like, you go out and he was doing like 160 across or whatever. And the same bet it for a couple of rolls. And let's say you get 2 hits, $70, and then they 7 out, you lose the rest of it. And you're super conservative. That's a conservative move, right? Same bet, trying to get out of the hand. And if you don't get out of the hand and you 7 out, then he goes out with the $70 he won, all in, and it's pedal down. So it's like a little bit of conservative to try and get there, but if you don't get there, then he goes bam. It's like a full Degen move on that
So
second
you're still
round.
using that 160
The
essentially.
same 160. The same 160. You get a 160 crack, then you get like a 70 crack. And it's like it kind of fills the need. It's like, let me be conservative. If I happen to get there, I'm good. But if I don't, let me just take a shot with the second bit of it. You get like basically 2 shooters for each 160. Kind of interesting. And I haven't quite found the rhythm for it yet. But it's a cool way to kind of tickle that nerve if you've got that nerve in you without going out of your bankroll to just put your foot to the floor. I don't know. It's been fun playing it out. I haven't done it live in a casino yet, but I'm doing it here, and it's kind of fun.
All right.
Like Big AC right there. A friend told me.
Yeah, friend told me about
Big AZ with the. What does Jen say? Big AZ has. She calls it bubble craps. What does she call it? Bubble craps Tourette's. He hits that thing so fast. You know?
She's pretty fast at that
Oh
too.
my God, she's fun to watch.
jeez.
Bubble craps. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here.
Ooh, we have
Where
to
did
ask
we
that
go?
question. I'm gonna put that in there. Question.
Yeah. Let's go back to the queue here.
Yeah, I have a question for. I have a question for the panel about bubble craps.
All right, go ahead.
When you play bubble craps, do people play it before they go to the main table, or do they play it after the table and lick their wounds, or do you just stick to bubble craps?
I can't stand it. Next, who else wants to answer the question?
I like bubble craps. It's fun. You know what I do with it? If the table's too full, I'll play it while I'm just sitting around. And here's how nerdy I am. I don't like uneven money. So let's say that let's say I've got bought in for 700 and I cash out for whatever 937. That 37 is going into the bubble crap machine. I cannot bring a non-even amount back with me. And if I win, I'm looking to win exactly $100 to get me a nice crisp Benjamin and dump the change. Like that's my goal with bubble craps. Like make it even. Which I know is stupid, but that's the OCD of me that does that.
Hey, John, answer the question you put up there since you have the floor about the thoughts on the new crapless 3-dice bubble crap thing. I have not seen it.
Oh my God! Let me tell you how this thing works. It's crapless for one thing, right? You can't buy the numbers, which is the only reason why you would ever play a crapless. It's crapless where you can't buy anything. There's no lays allowed. But the worst part of it is that it rolls 3 dice. 3 bubbles are out there. The bubbles are covered in not cloth, but they're covered. You can't see the dice. All 3 of them roll. And then the player whose turn it is picks bubble 1 and bubble 3 or whatever, bubble 2 and bubble 1, whatever. And then it reveals them at the end of that.
Is that not like card craps?
You're not even seeing the dice roll. It just rolls them in a vacuum. I mean, I can't imagine.
Is that even legal?
Yeah, it just doesn't sound right.
They claim everything is on the up and up.
Showing you the outcome.
If you could pick the 2, you can see them. Sure, no, it reveals the 2 you picked, and you're like, oh, that sucks. That was a 4. I'm laying the 4. I can't imagine that's how it is. That's the game. Would you play that number 1? I guess. I mean, no.
From what I'm hearing you say, I would not.
I'm going to try and get a video of that at Caesars. So this is what, again, I'm going to try and get a video of it at Caesars when we're there for the next weekend.
Is it
and show that. That's what it is. That sounds like the worst thing I can imagine.
Why wouldn't you just pick the same 2 every time? Anyways, just to limit the variance.
I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know. It just sounds scary to me.
Crazy.
It is crazy. I'll put a picture of it tomorrow morning on the show. You'll see it. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's going to a different shooter every time, though, so you'd all have to kind of coordinate.
Yeah.
That, hey, we're only going to pick these 2. Screw that other one.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't see it part.
That's the way to. Well, you can't see it, but at least you're limiting the variability, right? You're staying consistent with those two numbers that are being picked. So you're still getting the independent outcomes, but not involving a third. I don't know. Seems like if you flip back and forth, it's the rationale behind numbers, right? Like if you're playing blackjack, you either hit the 16 or you don't. So if you start picking a different column, even though you don't know what the outcome is, it's going to vary the outcome because the precision of the dice in these 2 might be slightly different than the one over here. So it's going to give you even random on top of random, which is only going to help the house, not you.
It's like the card craps thing. It's like you roll the dice and you have a card, so it's double blind taste test kind of thing. But it just feels wrong on every level. Here's a picture of it. I'll send it to Jeff. You can put it up on screen.
Bubble craps is the incarnate of evil. I hate it, and I agree with Jeff 100%.
Show him that picture, Jeff. I just texted it to you.
But some people swear by it.
I texted it to you. Oh,
still waiting for it to come in. I'm still. Well, I can. I'm still waiting for it to come in.
Okay.
No picture yet. Alfredo, what were you saying there at the end?
Oh no, I said some people swear by it and make money off of it, but I agree with you. It's the incarnate of evil. I refuse to play it. I'll bet on other people on stadium craps. I think that's cool. I just hate shooting at a stadium craps table. They can burn those tables too.
I like stadium. I like stadium a lot, and I think, like I said, the future of craps is the stadium craps. That thing is that filmed table is going to be, and that app is going to be on everybody's phone and your iPad. You'll be able to play.
You love it because you got a stadium crap table right behind you that you play
I
every
do.
day.
I'm
So
sitting
you're
right
used
next
to
to one. Yeah.
that type of toss.
Yeah, right. But I think, to me, like, the online craps experience is ass right now. You can't trust it. The evolution thing is terrible. But the stadium craps with that camera and an actual person, random,
From a live casino or something.
From a live casino, you're betting on the app against that thing. There's no BS around that. There's no funny business with the offshore. There's no RNG to deal with. It's a real person. I would actually do that online. I would do that on my
How
phone.
do you deal with the delay? Because wouldn't the game have to be a little slower just to get the video feed around the world?
That's probably the problem. Look at the problems Crapsy has with the delays, right?
Yeah.
Just with us.
Yeah,
So there's major technology has to happen to make it happen, like bandwidth wise to make it happen. But that's the only way I'd probably trust it.
Yeah.
And it could be a half hour delayed, frankly. I mean, well, I guess it couldn't be because somebody could be radioing the numbers to you. But there's got to be a way to do it. I don't know, but I think it's where it's all headed.
Yeah, let me put the whole thing up here, John, and we'll all take a look at it together.
That looks awful.
Yeah, I have not seen that.
It's literally 3 tubs, and they cover the dice. And
So does the person walk up and have to push the button or something? Like when it's
I don't know. I think the person whose turn it is,
or they do it remotely.
Well, on their screen, it's like they pick red and yellow or red and green or something, and that's the one that raises up and it shows you the dice.
I think red would be the least picked number, right? Because
seriously, that looks like a recipe for having drinks thrown at it. I mean, that just looks like so bad. But
I have never seen that.
Anytime somebody did math in some office, some bean counter figured it out. Like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, if it's there and it's new and it's got a big old sign, it's not good for you. That's sort of we can all probably agree on that.
So you said that you can't buy the bets. So are they even giving you the 6-1 payout like on a 12 and a 2? Or did they screw with those payouts too?
I think they're screwing with the payouts. It's a non-buy, whatever the non-buy house edge would be, is what you're paying on this thing. So it's going to be down to the penny, like the 4 and 10 are.
John, is that in Caesars in Vegas? You said
that's in Caesars. Yeah, that's in Caesars.
We'll have to go check it out next week.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and video. I'll put $100 in it. I'll videotape it so you can all watch me lose and swear for half an hour. That'll be just for the
content. You won't last that long on a crap list for half an hour. You're gonna have to bet more numbers unless you're gonna bet like.
I'll do the ed. I'll do the ed system. Just bet the 12. I'm just gonna sit there and put the 12 out there and let it sit and burn all day long, right? What else can you do?
All right, we're going to move on since somebody mentioned Crapsy a minute ago. This goes back to about an hour ago when we were having a conversation. I don't know that Brian is still with us or not, but he asked the question, if the average buy-in on the panel was $2,000, and I don't think that, but 2 people said they had bought in for $2,000, but does a given $20,000 Crapsy bankroll help or hurt a new person to the game? My answer would be absolutely positively would hurt that person horribly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone gives a $20,000 Crapsy bank.
No, they don't, but
inevitably get there.
Oh, 20 grand. Jeez.
Yeah.
I feel like Crapsy we should try and set it up to be as real as we can. Like, to me, me, right? I want Crapsy to be like your practice. Like, let's buy-ins $1,000, tables $15, normal things, and that's it. No rebuys. Like, I would love to see it that way so people can hone their skills with it. But what happens is you get this, I want to be the best and beat everybody else, and they bet like maniacs, like they wouldn't bet in real life. I think that's what I've seen with Crapsy.
And I think that most of us,
right?
Yeah, I think most of us that run the Crapsy, we know the people that rebuy, continuously because they want to see their name on the leaderboard. They're not playing any type of system or strategy. It's just, let's just see if I can get to the top. And I know Alfredo does the same as I do. We encourage our players to play normally and, do the best that you can do. But I have to admit, I've on a couple shows, I've shoved everything into the field because I had to go, and I went from $1,800 to $31,000 on one of Brian's shows, and I was just seeing how long the field would last, and I just moved to the top. But I don't normally play that way. If you rarely see me at the top of a crapsy list if I'm playing on somebody else's channel because I'm actually trying to play realistic.
Yeah, I think the choppy times is what shows the fortification of most people. And is it at the end of a month, is it at the beginning of the month on where they end up at? I think most people are a little more conservative. I've seen a lot fewer people doing the all-in than what has been in the past. Even Nemo has been jumped in there, I think 3 separate days, and he's left and he's at the top right now. So now granted, the numbers have been really well for the last several days on the LFC that we've had from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and that's over 50 people there, and only 3 people were in the negative.
Yeah,
because the numbers have been that well. Now there were people that got to the negative and ultimately rebought, a couple of them, but for the vast majority, no rebuys.
Yeah, one thing I'm a big believer in is having skin in the game. I know that some people get upset that Crapsy's charging, a monthly fee or yearly fee for their app, when it's not quite there yet, and I can appreciate that. But at the same time, you're paying for it.
You're going to hear a change probably when Chuck talks next Saturday.
I know.
That
I don't want to get into what he's going to say because I know what he's going to say.
But to go back just to your point, just to your point of the people that pay, I think that you're going to see the other people that don't have subscriptions. They can come on and join Alfredo, but he may give them a $1,500 bankroll. But the people that don't subscribe would only get a $500 bankroll. And then if they want to rebuy, then they have an option to do something differently. And that not only helps the company, but it also helps the YouTuber as well. And I think you're going to hear some of that coming up in next week. Yeah, but you're right. I think. I tell you what, Alfredo and I, after we get back, we'll do a joint rollout, and we'll give them 100,000 in chips to play with, and we'll see how they play.
Oh shit!
And we'll play along with them, Alfredo, right on Crapsy.
Yeah, I think people still you need to scale it up, right? Like if you do a Wayland strategy on Bubble Craps, or you're scaling it down instead of up. If you have a lot more money, you're still playing percentage-wise from what's in your rack. So a lot, even if you're at 40,000 plus because it's been a good month, lots of good rolls, you took advantage of 2 mega rolls or something like that. That doesn't mean that you go out and put 40,000 on the table, right? You would still put in, let's say you take it down to, hey, I bought in 400. Put it at that level and say, okay, I'm not going to bet more than, 1,200 or whatever on this roll. That's still a lot, right? And so you have to understand no matter where you're at, percentage-wise, try to keep it something similar because you're going to dwindle down your bankroll very quickly if you're just, picking numbers to throw at max onto each number.
All right. So I don't know if we killed that question or not, but if we're ready to move on, we can do another question. Go back to Buckeye has some good questions tonight. Why even play the pass, don't pass if you're not the shooter? Should you use the come out as a safe space? And I wish Dustin had stuck around for this question, but who wants to try to tackle this one?
I think it depends if it's part of your strategy or not.
Okay.
Playing hybrid, you kind of need to, right?
Right.
That's sort of the part of it. If you're approaching, and I think Dustin alluded to this earlier, or Buckeye did, somebody did. And what I've been doing with the Red Cross is if you treat the line and the box field, whatever, as two separate lifespans, then you play the come out. You're working the line on some progression separately from everything else. And the line can win its own 500 and your box can win its own 500. You walk out with 1,000. If you think of it that way, and I demonstrated that a couple of days ago, that's an okay way to do it. But by and large, if I'm just a right side player, I'm not playing the line. Why would I choose to be stuck with a pass line bet? If I'm not the shooter,
Okay.
I don't have to. Unless I'm playing the ATS, I'm trying to hedge it off, right? There's no other reason to do it. Unless you're doing a molly, where that's part of your, if it's part of your way to play, and it's one of your 3 bets that you're making in a molly, it makes total sense. But if it's not, it's ludicrous to play the pass line and a couple of place bets. It just feels like you're locking yourself in unnecessarily down here. You might be stuck with something you don't want. What was the point of the bet then?
Right. Okay. Anybody else have a comment on that?
Yeah, I think if you're at a 3-4-5 table, the place bets are going to pay you the same. You may as well put it up top where you're getting better odds. In fact, at a higher level, you're going to get slightly more money at a 3-4-5 table. If you're over that, I don't even know very many people that put max odds, to be honest, on the pass line. So unless you're doing that, it makes no sense.
Oh shoot, then I'm in trouble then there, Fredo.
3-4-5, it doesn't pay you any more to be on the pass line. In fact, you lose a little bit of money on a couple of numbers. Get paid more up at the top. Do the math.
All right. Anybody else? We're going to pull up a question from our panelist here. Craig, here comes your question. How many of you watch a table before buying in, or do you go straight up to and start playing? In my case, at locals, there's only one table, so I don't have a choice. But what about other people that have multiple tables, or actually multiple casinos within walking or short driving distance that you do that?
I'll be quick. Orleans, where I play at, typically the times that I'm going in have 6 tables going. Look at the rail or at the bank. If the bank is regressed a little bit, in that they don't have like a full bank over there, just as Gargoyle said the other day, that's a telltale sign that money's been going out. People have money in the rails on top of that. That means the table is still going good. I'll decide to go to a table like that versus a table where people have less money there and that's overflowing. Pretty good sign to say whether or not people have been doing well at the table.
Do you feel, Alfredo, and let's push that out there, right? You got a table where everybody's got money in the rack and the bank's looking empty and it's full, because why wouldn't it be if it's a hot table, right? Mm-hmm. And the other table's not quite so hot and there's a space there and it's your spot, and you're the kind of guy that can go in there and change the tide. And you're likely to get the dice and be able to be the person that makes the mood change, right? Wouldn't you seek that out as a shooter? I mean, I certainly, if I was a shooter,
it would depend where the dice are.
I would seek it out.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would depend where the dice are. So let's say the dice are going to come to me in 2 to 3 rolls, maybe. But if it's at the other end of the table, it's going to wait, then maybe not. There's one table over at the Orleans I just refuse to play with. Period. It's a shitty table, and I've never had luck on both sides since they refelt it like 2 or 3 times. The other 5 tables, 100% can be beaten. You just have to find out what the outcomes of the day, how the dice are flowing. And
that's a fascinating
If I have my spot, 100.
You should make that a YouTube short. Like literally, like charting the table for hot or cold to me doesn't matter so much. But you're looking at like, okay, the table may be cold, but and my spot's open and the dice are 1 or 2 people away. I'm going to get it quick.
Yep.
That's a great reason to wait and jump into that table if you're a shooter. That nobody talks about 100%. That. That's actually the first time I say that out loud. Like where the dice are is a point to ponder as far as picking a table. That's really
there are tables because it's my local, right? There are tables. I know the people that are there. As soon as they see me, if the spot is open, they'll pass the dice around to me, like 75% of them, to get it over to me faster because they know that they have a much better chance. And I've done really, really well there many, many, many times. So they're willing to take the chance over them even shooting, period. Most of them.
All right, Craig, you asked the questions.
Where, you're local. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously you had other than the question, you must have some other thoughts about it.
Me?
Yes, you asked the question.
I'm talking also from a perspective of, okay, what if there's only one table? And, I've been to a table where I literally I watched 5 shooters worth, and it didn't last too long. But when I was looking around the table, there was one person who had a majority of chips versus everybody else, and they were playing the don't, and 3 DC bets, and then odds on everything. I started following what he was doing because that's what I noticed. That's what I saw. So when I bought in after 5 shooters, and he would not shoot. He would just pass the dice. So, bought in. I think at that time I bought in for 300, and I think I turned it into 700. Just following what he was doing. But that's why I brought up the question, because that happened. So I know that you're looking at the bank, and then you're looking at the rails to see if they coincide with is this maybe a hot table. But to me,
Whole
that
table can be
that's
good
a-
for your strategy.
Sure, but
Right.
that's also if you're thinking about playing light side. But I was talking more of the concern of, all right, everybody, people do tell you should go in with multiple ways to play. So I guess in my mind that means I should know how to play dark, how to play hybrid, how to play light, based on what's happening on the table. That's where I need to start. It could change, of course, and you hope that you do always seem to hope that you are the one that makes the change to light side, and that you're going to be that hot shooter. It just doesn't. It's just not reality. Reality is, and for me, and I've learned this. It took 6 months of play to learn, because I'm dumb, but it took me a while to learn. Do not go out with what I want the first time around I'm shooting. Every time I shoot, first time out, it's usually a short roll. And I should play that way, and then let the table dictate how I change if it happens to go longer than I thought it was going to go.
All right. Anybody else with any comments? Leon, Nemo, Chris.
Yeah, I'll sit and watch the table before it just depends on how badly I want to play, and if I know that table is probably going to get busier later, I might go ahead and jump on and get a spot and buy in when there's the break, but and then just stand there and watch and maybe minimum bet. But I have no problem standing there and watching the table before I get on it, and just kind of seeing how it is and reading it, going around, seeing how all the shooters are, qualifying them, and then deciding from there.
All right. Alfredo, I don't know if you saw Mike's question. He asked which table at the Orleans
Yeah,
it was.
it's the center table nearest to the alligator bar. Horrible. Gargoyle talked about it before, right? Where they ultra stretch the felt. In this case, it's microfiber, but it's a new microfiber that honestly feels like felt, but it is microfiber, so it has the dynamic colors or whatever. And they stretched it so hard that it's just so inconsistent. You could hit the same landing zone either side. I've tried it, left side and right side. Literally sat there blowing money, just playing a pass line and doing different things, even playing the don't, because I was the only one there. Literally, the table was empty. Well, 4 other tables were not. And I blew through about $1,000. I go over to the next table, over straight across, same day, a minute later, and I have a 44 roller and then a 30 roller following it up. So it wasn't me, right? It certainly was the table. And then I played some of the other tables, and I tried it again at other times to say, maybe it was just the dice at the time, and same results. There's something inconsistent about the table, and I don't know what it is. I can't see it with my eye, but I do see that the felt is ultra pulled, and it's just causing way inconsistencies. They tend to use the small dice on that table all the time and not the big dice, which also makes it harder on the player, because most people don't practice with the small dice that are heavier.
All right. All right. Anybody else on this question?
Does that stretching distort the layout at all?
It did. They had to
Yes.
refelt it, and even when they refelted it, so it wasn't like even, right? And when they refelted it, they made it so that it was still stretched ultra, but it didn't distort it the next time around. but you could tell, and it's getting scuffed up because it's so roughly tight to the thing that it's getting torn up a lot faster than the other one, but it's giving them better results. So why not do that? You know, you got to think a little bit. If a casino is willing to change a felt 3 times within a 3-month period, their felt is not getting tore up that much, right? They're searching for something, and they did it 4 straight months in a row until they got this new way that they were doing it, and ever since then it's been shit. And people will continue to go there because it's an open table, and what they don't know is they're just wasting their money. I literally sat there trying to figure it out, doing different things from a dice set perspective, landing zones, arc, everything. It's just not worth your money. If you ever go there, don't play that table.
All right. Anyone else? We'll keep moving because we're past the 2-hour point on the show. So here's a question from James Newberry. Has anyone seen the dice land on top of the other? And I know John answered it in a chat a while ago because this question came in almost 30 minutes ago. I've done it on my table here, and I've seen it happen twice live. And believe it or not, one time they called it a no roll, and the other time the dealer sitting in front of the stick moved it off and set it down, and they called the roll. So I've seen it go both ways. I think the official rule at most gaming casinos is it's a no roll, but I've only done it once here on my table. Has anybody seen the dice land on top of one another?
Just on John's
Done
show.
it twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done it twice
I've
in the
never
casino,
seen
once
them.
here.
I've never seen.
I've never done it in a
land.
casino, but I've seen it. Anybody?
I did it twice, and it was in the same trip. And one time they called the number, right? And it ended up being a 7. The next time around, it ended up being a point. And because they had the same call, because they tried to do something different the next time around, I said, just the other day, that person right back there was the pit boss. They go and ask, and they say, yeah, go ahead and count it. And it was the point. And so they try to get away with it the next time around. But you have to be consistent in whatever way that you're going to call it.
Well, that's what I said. And this was at
Technically,
the same
they're not supposed to call. Yeah.
These were at 2 different casinos, one call, one a no call, but it just surprised me because they picked the dice up, moving the mechanism of the dice before the stick call got out. I think James just said it's a no roll, but I think it's up to the house rules or whatever the gaming commission is, because some of gaming commissions around the country and elsewhere in the world have pretty lenient rules, especially on the tribal sides. But in any event, that's a question. Anybody else in the panel ever seen the dice land on top of one another beside what John did? Yep. All right. Go ahead, Nemo. Oh, okay.
I don't know if that means.
Not sure what that meant. I am not sure what that meant. All right.
John,
let's
on
move.
your show. John, on your
Surprised
show.
they haven't made
did
that
you
a
call
bet
the
yet.
dice?
All right, one at a time. What was that?
John, on your show, did you call no roll?
No, it's a roll. I mean, when I did in the casino, both times it was called a roll. The dice did land. They weren't cockeyed, and they called a guy over, and he said, "Yeah," and they for the camera picked it up very carefully, and it was a roll, whatever was underneath. So both times they called it. If it lands on top of a chip, it's a roll. I mean, it's no different. You just can't see the result because it's hidden. But it was cool because they do it and they spin. The one spins on top, and it looks really cool when it happens. But yeah, I get more pissed when they're leaning up against the wall and they're you can't tell what it's going to be. And oftentimes they'll be really quick with that call. That'll drive you nuts more than this. But yeah, that's such a rare occurrence. I mean, I'm not sure if they even have a rule, like something written down somewhere for that. I think it's a judgment call. My guess.
Does it happen more or less often than the ATS?
Oh, that's way less than the ATS. That's like probably less than a 6-point fire bet. Seeing that happen.
Surprised.
All right,
that's what I was going to say. I'm surprised they haven't made a bet out of that.
Land the dice on top of each other. You get the progressive.
That should be a progressive.
Something
There you
crazy
go.
like 500 to 1 or something, and there were people who will bet it, right?
Yeah, but they'll only let you bet $1.
All right, let's move on. I just put a post up here from Dylan, and I was going to get to that at the end of the show. I'm glad we heard from him. I think Dylan's probably about 2 hours behind in where we are on the video at the moment, because he put up there the Horseman or the 678 is always a good place to start out. And then he said, hello, everyone, I'm driving. Sorry, I can't be with you all, and he misses us all. So Dylan, for those of you that weren't here last 2 weeks ago, He's actually driving on Sunday nights with a new company, and we wish him well, and we're glad that he's back to work. And Arnell just popped something up here about the dice. It's really hard to read on the screen. I'll read it. I've seen dice land on top of each other twice. Same shooter, same roll at the Horseshoe. Northern Indiana stopped the game for almost 30 minutes before they called no roll. Tried to get a photo. They busted me. And then Ted says John's shot starts off stacked. So why wouldn't it not count if it ended up being stacked? That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's see here. A question from Joe Ramus. Why do past line players not press their line bets after a 7 or 2 are rolled or points are made? They all stay at minimum bet. I typically don't play a past line bet on others, so somebody else want to take this?
I will absolutely increase. Because sometimes I'll also play the hop the reds or a world bet, and every time a 7 or something comes, everything gets pressed by a unit. If it's a $15 table, I'll press it by 5, just for the odd chance that horns and 7s come together. So why not take the chance?
All right, Nemo, you're going to say?
I'm the same way. I play the pass line and the horn as a separate game before the point.
All right. Anybody else?
There is the old adage, stack it, don't rack it, right? Because they come in pairs. It'll help you get a bigger win, but again, you're not getting the odds off of it. So if you're not the shooter, I wouldn't stack it. But if you are hedging or something like that, just add it to your bets that you were going to do. Just add it as an additional bet to already press it.
Especially since you just won, if you just won,
it's free money.
On the world bet, or the pass line.
If you're doing like a progression, like a parolee, if you're predisposed to play a progression down there, I would certainly do that, right? But that's got to be that's a pre-plan, right? That's like I'm deciding to play the line as a progression in addition to my other stuff. Then yeah, you totally should be stacking that bet. That's where the power is, right? Especially on the pass line. Yep. That one roll advantage is way bigger than you think it is. Like I've done the math on that. That's a difference maker, the come out roll. It really is. On the comebacks and the pass line bet, it's way bigger of an advantage than you can imagine.
With Arnell's comment, Jeff, it's interesting because that's the only reason I play the field is to get box numbers. That's the only reason. Can I hit it? Great. If I do, I just picked up a free box number.
Typically, I do the 4 and 10 that way, or I feed from the field. If I'm in the field, if I see that the field's coming more than 44% of the time, it's got to be a higher percentage of time. I'll use the field bet to field the presses on the box numbers. But I mean, it's one or the other. But I understand what you're saying.
But I also think people who don't want to play the ATS doesn't mean don't pay attention to the numbers that are being covered. That tells a story too.
Yeah. Right. All right, guys, we're coming down here to the stretch. I want to throw this one out here, John. Maybe you can answer this question since we were just talking about Joe. He wants to know, is Old Bay Craps and Sith Lord having a match? Who is the best King of the Mountain since they both are even with the wins in the event? That's an idea.
We should do that at some point. I think we had talked about it.
We talked about it, but Corey couldn't make Vegas.
Yeah,
Corey couldn't make Seattle. He's coming.
And you couldn't make Seattle.
Yeah, he's coming. Yeah, he's coming. Yeah.
Well, somebody said that he's not been seen in the chats lately.
Yeah, I thought he and I could do it at a stadium craps.
Yeah, you didn't see him in chats because he went to Lake Tahoe and then the signature event for the 7 stars there, and then he went to the Las Vegas 7 stars. So he's been traveling.
I thought he was on a cruise
in between that.
I thought
he was on
a cruise this weekend. That's why he can't come.
I don't know.
No,
he's not been in the chats.
Yeah.
He's coming.
Okay, then that's my mistake. But yeah, I think you guys should do that live.
Yeah,
for sure. It'd be great. If he's going to be there, we can make that an event during the show. That'd be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I think he's staying at the Cromwell. or
Okay.
something. I don't know.
You know, I did hear him say that, Alfredo. Yeah, I remember that at some point. I think he was on your show when he said that, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me text him and see if he
Okay.
changed
All right.
his mind. But yeah.
So we're getting down to the end of the questions. If somebody else has another question, if I missed one, it's because you didn't put a capital Q or somebody's name. So let's go ahead and put this one up here. Ryan from Mark the Point, who probably isn't here anymore because that came in 42 minutes ago, wants to know, do you ever worry about having cash or chips in your hotel room? I personally do not. I do take advantage of the safes, and I don't carry large amounts of money when I'm on the casino floor. And when I cash out, typically if they color me up right and I don't have to carry a lot of chips in my pocket, I take them to the safe and stick them in there, and it kind of becomes my envelope at the end of the week of what I'm going to play with later on in the week. Or if I'm down, oh what the hell, I just found money. Just kidding, but seriously, that's the answer. Anybody
Same
have a
answer
problem
for
with
me,
chips
Jeff.
or
With
cash in your
or
hotel
chip,
room?
I live my life out of my pockets. It's always on
I
me.
keep it all in the safe. No problem with the safe.
Yeah,
for me.
safe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem with the safe. If you're staying
Well,
at a
Fox-
sketchier hotel, try to make sure that you get
Try Craig's
points
way.
in somewhere else. Yeah,
If you are worried about that kind of stuff, you can like take pictures of what you put in the safe and document it if you are. But I never have any issues with money in the safe or anything.
You know, the last 2 times I was in Vegas, the safes were broken. I had to get replacement safes twice in a row.
Wow,
Yeah.
I have
One
never
of them wouldn't
had
lock, one of
that.
them- Yeah. One of them wouldn't lock, and one of them wouldn't open. And
With the
you know,
portable safe you rent, where are you taking?
well, and actually one time, where were we at last time? Was it Harris? No, it was Harris. It was the time before that. Then the safe wasn't bolted down. The safe was like, just in the closet, just like a piece of metal up there.
Well, in Craig's
And
question,
so-
when you say where you rent the safe, there's several casinos in the olden days. That's how they did it.
Charge you.
But there's several
Right.
large poker rooms that have safes that people keep their money in, and it's like a safety deposit box.
I was just going to say, like a safety or post office box.
Yeah. Yep.
you start getting too much money, just like John said, go deposit it in your bank.
Well, if that ever happens, Alfredo, I'll be sure to think about it.
Yep.
All right.
You all will be the first I contact.
All right.
Well, guys, we're going to wind down this show, and there's not going to be an after show. I mean, you can come on, and I'll let you in. I won't be able to stick around, but you can. If you want to come in and talk to who's left there, the chin link in the chat is still alive. John's trying to figure out on the voting, which is pretty almost dead even, on who's going to favor the match. They got the Degen in the lead, just took the lead a few minutes ago at 52%, and the other guy, which would be Craig from Old Bay Craps, is at 47%. It's 40 votes, guys. There's 61 of you currently watching. If you go out there and give that poll a vote one way or the other, it's Chris Degen against Craig the Old Bay, the other guy, and we'll go that way. We'll go ahead and head around
No,
the
he only has the
table.
4% because I have actually had his cheesesteaks and they're pretty freaking good.
I could deal that game, and John can be the stick. If you guys want.
There you have it. There you have it. All right, so let's head around the room here. We'll start with Nemo. Nemo, you're pretty quiet tonight, but you've been here. So, any words of wisdom from the Nemo land?
Did you have to really say that, Jeff?
Well, sorry.
Yeah, 'cause nothing bright comes from Nemo Land.
Oh,
Oh,
stop.
thanks, Craig. No, I will be seeing you guys Sunday. I do have a 30-roll challenge that day too, so we'll see how that goes. Hope to see you guys. So, usual saying, don't become shark bait. Swim safely.
All right, Leon, we'll go over to you.
I don't have much to say this evening either, other than see most of you at Crafts of Cure next weekend, and looking forward to it.
All right, let's go over here to Chris for Dice Degen.
Great show as usual. Looking forward to being in Vegas and seeing you guys and everybody in chat and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, great show. Craig, you're going down. So Add that in there.
Alfredo, let me ask you the same thing. Words of wisdom.
Be careful with your bankroll on where you put it and how you spend it. But have fun when you go to the craps table, but make sure that you use the years of wisdom and time that you've spent learning the game in your favor, so that you're not just blowing your load on random people or just throwing it all out there for no reason. Shout out to Bryson, who just hit an ATS over at the Nugget. See you guys later this week, AZ and everyone else. All right, take care.
All right, John, you final words from you.
Yeah, I'll follow what Alfredo said, which is, I said this in chat, your most precious commodity is your money. You work hard for it. Don't light it on fire. Like, protect, like, celebrate every dollar you win. Every white chip is gold. And everything that goes away should make you sad. Like, literally, treat your money like what it is. And there's not a lot of it anymore in this, what's going on around here. So be careful with it, right? And that's it. Respect it. I will see y'all live, Perhaps for the Cure. And thanks, everybody, already for your support. We had more donations come in tonight, actually, during the show. Thanks for your support in advance. And watch the whole thing. Watch what you can and just beat the drum. Beat the drum, everybody. This is for a great cause. Our veterans deserve everything we can do for them. And I love the fact that we're doing something tactical this year. So in advance, thank you, and God bless everybody. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, thanks, John. And thanks for stepping in for Dylan as the co-host of the show here. Yep. You did that last time. I don't think he liked that. Looking at the calendar, obviously we have the 2 and 1 hour shows coming up next weekend on Saturday and Sunday live from Casino Quest. But we're actually back live for this show on the 19th of November at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So you can look for us here and also next week as well. So thank you, John, for stepping up. All the panelists, thank you. If you guys want to hang in there till after the show is over with, I am going to run the Craps for the Cure promo that I did at the beginning of the show at the end of the show, and that's going to take us out of the show. To everybody that's here, that's going to be in Vegas next weekend, I am looking forward to seeing all of you next weekend. It's my first time I've been able to make it, although my third year as a channel donating to this, and thanks to everybody that helped my channel get to where we are. You guys know who you are. John, I'm looking forward to talking to you next week. Chris, I'll see you at the hotel in the afternoon. Chris and I travel about the same time. Appreciate everybody that's in the chat saying thank you to us and everything that's here. For those of you like Arnell that just said good show, we'd love it if you would come on the show. It's going to be interesting to see how we're going to do the show next week, because it's John just told me we were doing it. He didn't tell me how we were doing it, but I guess it's a fly by our seat type of show. But next time, guys, come on the show. The more the merrier. And with that said, God bless each and every one of you. Please pay attention next weekend from Casino Quest on their channel, streaming the Craps for the Cure of the 2023, helping a veteran with PTSD and a comfort dog. We hope that you will come out and support us. Make sure you get all you can go ahead and buy the raffles, if you will, the chances at all those fine things. And John left out that I'm giving away 3 sets of Craps Nation dice, $125 value, but it's okay. That's not a problem. And with that said, Skill just put something in here. He's talking about Bankroll. He must be like 2 hours behind where we are in the show. Dylan, when you get to the end of the show, shoot me a text and we'll talk. All right, guys. Till next weekend and live from Las Vegas, this is Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Craps. On behalf of John and the entire panel, please be safe and play smart.
Hi, I'm John from the YouTube channels Pro Craps and Casino Gaming TV. This year's Craps for the Cure is going to be held November 11th and 12th in Las Vegas at Casino Quest. The whole thing will be streamed live on the Casino Quest YouTube channel. This year, obviously, we're raising money for veterans moving forward, which helps to raise service animals for veterans with PTSD. It costs $50,000 to raise one dog. That's our goal this year. Let's put one dog into one veteran's house as a group. Join us again for 20 hours over 2 days of straight-up craps play, talk, competitions, dice throwing, strategy breakdowns, dealing practice, you name it. If it's got to do with craps, we're doing it. for 20 straight hours to raise money for our vets. Looking forward to seeing you out there live at Casino Quest or on their YouTube channel. Again, if you want to donate, there's plenty of chances to donate at crapsforthecure.com. We have auction items, raffle items, event ticketing while you're there, and of course, live donations and pledges taken during the broadcast. Can't wait to see you there. Can't wait to hook up one vet with a dog. Let's get this done, everybody. See you on Veterans Day weekend. In the meantime, God bless.